Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, Dustin Fox, Jason Lloyd, Tyvis Powell, plus, ba-da-da-da-da, you're loving him, Mikey McNuggets. And so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show starts now. Booyah!
Hey, welcome to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Browns going pads today. A lot to talk about. Mikey, start us.
Yeah, before we dive in, a quick reminder, today's show is brought to us by Epicor. From small businesses with big dreams to growing enterprises with global visions, Epicor will equip you with the right tools to move forward. You can discover your success at easierwithepicor.com. What's up, guys? How was your weekend?
It's great. It's awesome. I mean, we got 4.5 inches of rain on Saturday.
Yeah.
We needed it. It's dry.
Yes, it was wild.
Hot.
I went to camp Saturday. It was nasty hot outside.
Yeah,
it was
dog days of summer hot.
I was like, I see why I'm be coming out here like this, man. This is crazy.
Do you often, when you're at camp, ask yourself, how did I used to do this?
Oh, listen, and now they only go in one practice.
Yeah.
Back then,
they've got it easy
it was
now.
Full padded practices twice. Yeah, I don't see how they do it. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna be honest with you. I said this yesterday. I said, people may think that beat reporters and the beat reporters say, I'm like, listen, I'll give them respect. I'll give them credit.
Boots on the ground.
They got to be out there.
They out there an hour before practice start, looking around. They got to get interviews before practice. Then they got to be out at practice. Then they got to be writing articles while they're there trying to figure out stories. And then they got to interview people after practice.
All while now there's probably a dozen that count that as their daily cover.
Yes, that's
where back in the day maybe there were, 4 or 5. Plain Dealer, Beacon Journal, The Rain, a couple papers here and there. I don't know, maybe there were more now, or more then, I don't know.
Because
it feels like there's more now.
There's more because there's strictly
digital media.
So you're out there, and it's funny because it's like they get tired of each other too. They keep just seeing the same person.
Yeah.
They're like, bro, this is Groundhog's Day.
They can't wait until we have a mutual camp with another team so they can hit other reporters.
I'm going after you in your article. I see what you wrote.
I mean, imagine. So there's competition. Obviously, people may not look at it this way, but they're all trying to turn the story that nobody else turns.
Right.
And how are you supposed to do that when the vast majority of the interviews take place with all the other cameras and mics? It's really tough, man.
I was out there Wednesday, and as you said, the turnaround. I'm shooting shorts. For our show. We had a short that what was it, Mike? 110,000.
What was it?
Shedeur Sanders.
I was gonna say Shedeur Sanders.
The appetite for. By the way, the fans. Shout out to the fans. The fans wasn't out there the day you was there.
Yeah.
They pulled up charges.
We got the best fans in the world, man.
They pulled up crazy.
I wasn't there Friday. I was working a long day at Channel 3 upstairs. Would it be fair were either of you guys there Friday?
No, I wasn't there Friday.
Some of the folks I talked to Friday characterized the fans as just okay. And I was like, wow.
Well, that Saturday
that's their first
maybe
meal.
Maybe it was the heat.
Maybe.
That Saturday.
It might be the tamped down expectations. I wonder. Yeah. I don't know.
Saturday was Saturday. The energy level was up. All the national networks was there, and it was a lot more kids there. So
I saw some of the video. There was a lot of kids there.
A lot of kids.
So it's cool when Shedeur Sanders brought everybody together and said group photo.
Yeah,
I like that.
It was Chuck E. Cheese.
That was cool. Very nice. Very nice. A lot to get to. Browns. As well, we got a little bit of Cavs too.
Hold up.
And Guardians, of course.
Hold up. I gotta mention this. I know I'm a NASCAR dude, right? So,
oh yes, that's right.
There are crown jewels in NASCAR. You got the Daytona 500, and you got races like the Brickyard. Charlotte, the Brickyard at Indy, right? Everybody know Indy is famous for the Indianapolis 500. NASCAR has their own event, the Brickyard 400. Bubba Wallace won that race yesterday. And if you know,
is that his first win?
It's like his fourth win of his career.
I saw somewhere.
It's
his first Brickyard win.
It's his first win since 2022. If you know anything about this dude's career, man, he faces a lot of scrutiny off the track. And on the track, he's always this driver. He's either right there on the bubble or he's just bad.
Yeah.
And recently, he's been better. He's been more competitive. And he finds himself in position to win these big races.
Is he Michael Jordan's driver or no?
Yeah,
That's
but he always comes up
That's
short. So watching the Brickyard yesterday, and it's one of these races to where it's a fuel strategy type race. That's how it's playing up. He pits. Kyle Larson, I think, has the fastest car out there. He beats Kyle off pit road. It's about 16 laps to go, and I'm paying attention. Like, now I'm just locked in.
Sure.
And I'm on Twitter, and I'm going crazy because I want to see him win this race. This is the Brickyard.
Yeah.
And they get to the end of the race. A caution cam comes out for rain with like 5 laps to go.
Oh, no.
He got like a 5 second
Usually it's
lead.
from a big wreck.
Yeah, he got like a 5-second lead on one of the best drivers in NASCAR.
And that's now gone.
So it's gone. It's evaporated. So
Yep.
I'm sitting here like, shit. This is about to be bad, all bad. Fuel is running low. They do the first restart after they come out the rain delay.
How long was the rain delay?
It was about 15, 20
And they
minutes.
can't take fuel during that,
No,
right?
you can't.
That's what I
can't.
thought.
So nobody comes down pit road. They do the first restart of overtime. Now, how NASCAR works is you got to complete 1 lap of overtime for the race to be official if a caution comes out.
Which is 2.5 miles there?
Right. So they do the first one. Caution comes out before they complete the first lap. I'm like, shit.
What? Was there a wreck?
It was a wreck. So I'm like,
my
everything
God.
was working against this dude, right? Second one comes out, second restart comes, and he beats him on a restart.
Now he's with Larson?
He's with Larson.
Which is odd that he would win the restart because Larson has the faster car.
Larson has the faster car, but he has the better line.
Okay,
So
he's inside.
He's inside.
Yeah.
So he
Larson has to make an outside pass very difficult.
ends up winning the race, becomes the first black driver of any form of racing to win at Indianapolis
Any
Speedway.
form. Like all the races that they've had there.
Yeah, Formula
IndyCar,
One,
NASCAR,
Indy, all
Formula.
that.
That's
First one
stunning.
ever. First one ever.
So
man.
history made yesterday.
History made yesterday. So shout out to Bubba Wallace. Shout out to Denny Hamlin, Michael Jordan, which is the owners of 23 Racing, man. That
Now,
was
do you
a pretty
follow
cool
the legal
moment.
side of what's going on with NASCAR and the lawsuit that Jordan's team filed?
I work in sports. I be trying to do my own thing. I know a little bit about what's going on with it, but
I know it was a very big deal with high stakes.
I'm just glad that he got the dub. I'm glad that team got the dub. He's in the playoffs.
Good for
His
him.
teammate Reddick is in the playoffs. So
I gotta go over these rules. I feel like I'm just completely. I said, what you mean it's overtime, but you can't pass nobody?
No, in the leading up to the restart, you can't.
Right.
You know, you're in your position that you were in when the yellow came out. Then when the checker drops or the green drops, now it's full-fledged racing. But you're in the position. So if he had a 5-second lead, which is monstrous in a race like this, now it's gone because they're in the grid.
Yeah, so
they're side by side.
That's
He
when
just
you start
can't
the race.
nose ahead of Bubba before they restart.
Yeah,
so he
so-
was probably 100th of a second behind him.
Yeah.
At the restart.
Like I'm watching the lap times. He was running like 50-40s, which is a solid
That's crazy.
lap time for that race.
How much faster was Larson's car? Considerably or
He had about 2 or 3 tenths. But the thing is, in NASCAR, you can use up your best stuff, quote unquote, early when you're trying to chase somebody down.
You
So
can.
that by the time they got to like 8 laps, their lap time started to kind of be similar. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, if he just keep this pace, all he got to do is not crash. Wow. And he'll win this race.
How did Matt's drivers do? Do you remember?
I don't.
No.
I don't.
Yeah.
But yeah, shout out to Bubba, man. That was dope.
That sound like me in the line at Honey Baked Ham around Christmas time.
Jockeying for position.
Jockeying for position.
Oh, no,
Don't
I'm
you pass
second.
me now, bro. Listen, when they opened them doors, I was already up here. I just had to go get my wallet. My wife was here. So go ahead, man.
Honey baked. I love honey baked.
Oh, no, oof.
We're gonna start with the Browns. Wow, man. Do you have a read first?
We do. Before we get into the update to the quarterback battle and the injury news to Kenny Pickett, a quick reminder that Yahoo Fantasy is a proud sponsor of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Fantasy football is back, guys. Fire up the group chat. Get your draft board ready and buckle up for a season filled with breakouts, busts, and all the overreactions we live for. It's all going down right now on Yahoo Fantasy. This year, the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show Fantasy Football League is going back to Yahoo, which is where all fantasy leagues should be held, whether you're a first-timer or a veteran, making your millionth move. To celebrate 28 years of fantasy greatness, Yahoo Sports Sports is dropping 28 big new features over the next 28 days, giving you more ways to play, more ways to draft, and more ways to win. It all begins on August 4th. Stay tuned and get started by creating or joining a Yahoo Fantasy Football League at yahoofantasy.com/LockedOnNFL. That is yahoofantasy.com/LockedOnNFL. And let's make this fantasy season the best one yet.
You know, I'm glad they're a sponsor because they are, and I'm not saying this because they're a sponsor, they are head and shoulders.
By far the best.
Head and shoulders the best platform. And I've tried all of them because...
When both switched last year to CBS.
Yeah.
Oh,
it was a catastrophe. Legitimately a catastrophe. We'd say that whether Yahoo was
on everything, Mike. Not just the week-to-week, but the draft info. Yep. I wanted to try ESPN's when I worked there. It's terrible.
Give you storylines.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was crazy.
Oh, nah,
yeah, it's really, really,
I looked at
really
G doing the read. Mike, and I might as well tell y'all, too. I'm whooping y'all ass this year.
Wow.
I'm whooping y'all ass.
You said that the
this
last
year.
2 years.
Yeah, well, this year I mean it. This year
I'm sincere.
You know,
we're back on Yahoo, so you have a better chance.
I'm glad. I almost get PTSD when I see that. When I see that Yahoo, the fantasy football season's coming back. Because I want to do well. I want to do well at whatever I'm doing. I don't care what it is. I just don't really care anymore, man.
I kind of look at it
don't
like
care.
It's me against Corey. That's how I kind of look at it.
Corey runs our team.
Yeah,
he'll call me, and when we talk, he's like, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And I'll give little bits of insight, but I run my own team in our family league, and that's
Baker
enough.
last year, and then I sent Corey an emoji with the cool eyes.
I get when you
you ate with Baker.
I did.
You ate.
I got to taper it down. I'm in too many of them.
How many do you do?
Man, I got up to too many of them. I was up to like 4.
Oh my!
It was
God.
4. It was 4, and then you end up just throwing money away on some of them.
And if you really commit, like if that's your thing, and you're like, man, I got to win at that. I got to win at that. Because when you get older, you just pick your priorities. What do I have to win at?
Yeah.
Baseball, number 1 for me. And then it's TV.
Dang, that's right.
I don't even think about fantasy like I used to.
Fantasy
I used to
football,
get in it.
TV, radio, video games.
Yeah, we all prioritize it. But the fantasy football thing, like, it can consume you.
It is, because you be up at
like
looking
Bull.
at
I
these
know
waivers.
Bull is in that dome,
Bull's
man.
deep.
Bull needs help. Yeah. Bull needs some counseling.
Hey, Mike, guess who we won't be picking? Kenny Pickett.
Well, that's a good way to jump off this starting conversation.
Unless you want to injure quarterback.
Over the weekend, we got news that Kenny Pickett suffered some sort of hamstring injury during Saturday's practice. He did finish the practice, but then it was announced on Sunday that he will miss some period of time. We don't exactly have an exact amount of time. Mary Kay Cabot tweeted this morning that the Browns will not sign another quarterback in wake of the hamstring injury. So that means this week, at least for the next couple of days, and for the foreseeable future, the Browns quarterback rotation will look like some combination of Joe Flacco, Shedeur Sanders, and Dillon Gabriel. Earl, I'll start with you on this. With Pickett out of the mix for the next week, let's just call it a week to be safe. Maybe it's a little longer, maybe it's a little less. How does that open the door for some extra opportunities now for the young 2 quarterbacks, Sanders and Gabriel, who are still in the thick of this quarterback competition?
Man, when preparation meets opportunity, you must seize the moment. I cannot stress that enough, man. Like when opportunity and preparation meet, you must seize the moment. Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders, to me, fellas, got a prime opportunity now to make the Cleveland Browns forget about Kenny Pickett altogether. It's been a lot has been said and written about, he could be Sam Darnold of this year for the Cleveland Browns and things like that. Well, you got 2 rookie quarterbacks.
So you're writing them off already?
What I'm saying is this is an opportunity for the rookies
to
make the Cleveland Browns forget about considering Kenny Pickett. If Dillon Gabriel or Shedeur Sanders go out there and ball their asses off or practice hard as hell and show that they can command the huddle, so that they can get out the huddle and command the line of scrimmage and make all the proper reads, all the proper throws, and make some noise and some big plays, that'd be enough to turn some heads to make Kevin Stefanski or Andrew Berry think twice about this pecking order, like when it comes to the quarterbacks. These young quarterbacks, they hear all the noise about, the 2026 draft and Arch Manning and players like that. Well, they're here right now, and they want an opportunity to prove right now that they can be that guy for the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
And so for both of them, this is a prime opportunity to get out there and just seize the moment, show what you can do, and hopefully jump Kenny Pickett. Do enough while he's out for the next week or so to be able to jump Kenny Pickett so that the Browns won't have to consider him as a starting quarterback. You move up and you get the opportunities. You're talking about a soft tissue injury here, right? So it's not going to be something that he's just going to bounce back from like that, turn around, he's back up under center, and everything is all systems go. I think that this injury is very important, and it opens up so many different opportunities on so many different levels. We got a preseason game coming up, right? And so when you talk about the limited reps that Joe Flacco has already received so far during camp, it makes me to believe, okay, well then you're going to have one rookie starting, another rookie coming right up after him when it's all said and done when it comes to that preseason game against the Panthers. And so
I think it would have been that way anyhow, don't you? They're the only ones that
I don't, because
they're just question marks.
If Kenny Pickett was healthy, then maybe Kenny gets the start. But with the hamstring injury, I don't even really see him playing in that first preseason game. I just look at this moment for Shedeur and for Dillon Gabriel. This is an opportunity to seize the moment and make the Cleveland Browns forget about having Kenny Pickett in their long-term plans.
What do you think, G?
Well, listen, as I was doing my blogs this week, the one thing I said, I went out there on Wednesday, or excuse me, it was on Thursday, and I said, right now it's not a competition. It looks like the Cleveland Browns are auditioning to see which one is going to play, Kenny Pickett or Joe Flacco. I said, but that's for right now. You see, because the great thing about the game of football is we all know all too well, given, even from my personal experience, injuries are a massive part of the game. It just is what it is. And you never really want to take an opportunity, and you never really want to, do victory laps when somebody else gets injured. Because after all, they're all part of the Cleveland Browns. And I thought, to be honest with you, I thought Kenny Pickett had a really nice day on Saturday. I thought he scored a couple of touchdowns on the goal line. And the one thing that I mentioned was the simple fact that, man, Kenny Pickett seems to be using his legs a lot.
Right.
Like, they were moving the pocket. They were doing some read option stuff. He was finding guys in the end zone. There's a touchdown right there. And I said, man, I thought that he really, really did well, especially on the goal line period. And I think he had a really good day. But I also thought Shedeur Sanders had the best day that day. He had 3 touchdowns, the one touchdown he threw. And I'll say this. Now you have 3 quarterbacks. Now you have an opportunity. If you're Dillon Gabriel, you're Shedeur Sanders. Now Shedeur will probably get reps. Dillon Gabriel will probably get more reps. And then you have Joe Flacco. The reason this is big is because of this. If you have Kenny Pickett with a hamstring, how many throws and how much harm do you want to put Joe Flacco in? Because at
in the preseason,
yeah,
none.
There you go.
You don't need to.
Even in practice, G, he's only gone through 2 of the 4 competitive practices. He basically
you don't need to see what Joe Flacco is. We know what Joe Flacco is.
We get it. We understand what he's going to be. Now, when Kevin Stefanski last week said there's that opportunity to reshape things, well, that was taken away from him. He got to pivot and repivot, and all we needed to know was this, McNuggets. What did you say when we came on? The Cleveland Browns are not bringing in another quarterback.
No.
So that means these young boys, Pearl, is going to get an opportunity to see what you got. And guess what? When you see what you got to perform. And now, to me, this is the most interesting week in the entire training camp, because now now it's a real opportunity to see, we're going to go head to head now. Now it's Dillon Gabriel and it's Shedeur Sanders. The 2 young guys are going to get those reps opened up, and we're going to get to see if they understand the playbook. We're going to get to see the throws. We're going to see a lot of it because Kenny Pickett is out, and Joe Flacco, I don't think is going to be taking those reps. So I think it's very significant.
You guys are looking at this entirely differently than I am, and maybe you're right and I'm completely wrong. I'm not looking at this as a 4 to 6 week injury. I've had hamstrings. You've had hamstrings. Hamstrings, particularly early in the season, those tend to be more common and less severe. And I don't know. I don't have the intel.
I expect maybe a week.
That's all I expect.
Maybe a week,
maybe
a couple
2
days.
weeks. But here's
Schefter,
the thing.
real quick, Jay. Just
to
clarify,
go ahead.
Schefter said he will be reevaluated later this week.
Right, I did see that.
So there's no. It could be literally 4 days. It could be 3 weeks. We have no idea. All we know is he'll be reevaluated.
If you're the Browns, this might be the best thing that's happened, and here's why. Are we in agreement that Kenny Pickett has surprised all of us at camp, and then he seemed to be the clear front runner for the job. Am I echoing what you guys are saying too?
I went out there.
Because the dailies that I've talked to, that's what I'm hearing.
I went out there and I seen him too, and I'm not gonna hate on Kenny Pickett. When I seen him, he had a solid practice. G said he had a solid practice. So
yeah,
Kenny has stepped into training camp, and he's done okay for himself.
So here's the beauty of it. Like, I'm always, where's the silver lining? You know, how is this good? And you know, in football, it's next man up. Mm-hmm. That's it. You never wish for injuries. My God, of course not.
No.
However, this might be one of the most well-timed, well-placed injuries that they're going to have this year. And here's why. They've established the fact that, and it's small sample size. I want to go on record as saying that. By no means have they said, oh, everybody was off on their pre-evaluation of Kenny Pickett. I'm not ready to go that far, but I do think there is internally, inside the Browns organization, they are subscribing to the theory that Kenny Pickett was a product of their offensive coordinator, who many people said Canada was the worst offensive coordinator that we've seen in recent memory. I said, well, they must not watch Browns football. But Canada was getting dinged, especially friendly fire. Mm-hmm. Even guys within the Steelers were privately saying, this guy's killing us. This guy, we're not going to make the playoffs with this guy, whatever. So there is a prevailing thought in the Browns organization, which is why they went out and got him, that there's more to Kenny Pickett than Pittsburgh was ever able to pull out. And Kevin Stefanski, as we've seen in the past, has gotten a lot with very little to work with. He took a team with 5 different quarterbacks, including a guy off the couch, to the playoffs. That earned him Coach of the Year award. So I think the Browns brass is thinking, A, there's more to Kenny than we think. B, we think the league might have moved on from him prematurely. C, let's get him with our guy. And let's see if we can make a love connection here, if we can make something happen. And in the very small sample size we've seen, I think he's overachieved. He's exceeded what I thought he was already. He's just looked different. I love, you mentioned the fact that that his legs are a huge asset for him. Mm-hmm. We need that. In today's NFL, if you have a quarterback that can work with his legs, you've got an extra piece of arsenal in your toolbox. We haven't had that. We have not had that. Even when we got Deshaun Watson, we thought we would have that. We didn't have that. He just hasn't been healthy. So I honestly think that in the Browns' mind, they're like, yeah, we were right. We were right with this guy. This guy can carry the load. He can be a starting quarterback in the NFL. Now, what do we have with everything else? Well, if Kenny's your guy and he's getting the majority of the reps or the most reps, then you're not getting to see the other guys. Mm-hmm. But take him out of the mix for a week. We kind of got this figured out. It's Kenny. Boom. Set him over here. We know what Joe Flacco is. Joe Flacco is a serviceable 41-year-old quarterback. It is what it is. Is he going to take you to Super Bowl? Absolutely not. Might he win 6 games instead of 3? Yeah, he might. But what does that get you? A worse draft pick. But we got to figure out what we have at the most important position in sports with these two guys. Because if they're not it, we'll move on and turn the page real quickly, and we'll get a nice draft pick. We've got 2 first rounds next year. We can move up. We can see what we can do.
The only premise I disagree with was this.
I'm not done yet, but go ahead.
The only premise is that they see Kenny Pickett and they'll move him out because we know what we got in Kenny Pickett.
Yeah.
That part of the game goes both ways, because if you say people missed on Kenny Pickett, some people could say, well, we drafted Dillon Gabriel, we drafted Shedeur Sanders, y'all missed on them too, and now they get the opportunity.
Sure.
See, the thing is, to be realistic about it, I went to camp, I looked at the footwork, I looked at them get out of the huddle, I looked at them to do what there was no difference in the way they was moving, the combination
between Dillon and
behind
Sanders?
All of them.
All of them.
Yeah.
4 of them.
You didn't think anybody had separated themselves?
No.
Oh, wow.
I didn't think there was no separation.
Okay.
And one of the things I saw was that when Shedeur got the opportunity, he delivered with the opportunity that he was given on Saturday.
Now, is it? I don't know what happened over the weekend. Is he still not gone with the one with and against the ones?
He was in with when he threw his touchdown pass, he was with a mix of 1s and 2s. They was moving the defense in, and the other couple of touchdown passes, he was actually going, I think it was the 3s.
Yeah.
And the other ones were on the other field. However, I noticed that Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry were directly behind Shedeur Sanders, watching him more intently than I had even thought on Thursday.
Well, they better be. They better be like that on everybody. We don't know.
I think that one thing that you're going to see is when you give those guys an opportunity, they're going to get that evaluation. And Pickett might not be going for that long, but like Earl said, just like you thought that Pickett had something that nobody saw that we didn't recognize, those two might have something that other people didn't recognize as well.
They might. You're right. But the reason, back to my original point of this being perfect timing, I think even if he's healthy in a week, I'm not pushing it. Especially if he's my guy.
He might want to push it.
If he might, but the Browns will come to him and say, we make the play sheet.
Hey, I just feel like as soon as they see he got a hamstring, I just feel like that kind of changes their psyche. So like, I think me and you said the same thing, but in different ways. Because I'm not saying it's the most severe injury, but if he's going to be reevaluated in a week, this is a soft tissue injury.
Sure.
And this is already the beginning of the season. Why press the issue even if he's available to come back next week?
Which is where I'm going.
Yeah, why even press the issue in that preseason game?
I wouldn't be surprised if he's out past the first game. That's 2 weeks. Here's what and that serves so many masters, guys. One, we know what you are. We saw it. Go get healthy. And you whisper in his ear, you're ahead. You know.
I wouldn't.
Can you get Wally pipped? Can you get Wally pipped? Yeah, you can.
Kenny, the views that are posted today, you need to see your lawyer. Do not take this advice and sit up for 2 weeks. No, when you feel healthy, get your tail back out there.
And what happens if he tears it? Now he's out for 3 months.
I mean,
that's not worth it.
I mean, listen,
you can't do that, guys. You cannot do that.
I get that, but you know what else is not worth it? It's not worth it that you get up out there and they start throwing this football around here, and it look like. Because there's the problem.
Well, now you're making the assumption that it's going to look like something.
If they're even, we always say, if it's even, what are you going to do?
You
take the young guy.
So Kenny Pickett's not old. Kenny Pickett, if it's even between the three, Kenny Pickett wins the job.
But
Kenny Pickett's 27.
Exactly.
He's not young.
He's not old either.
And guess what?
Joe Flacco's 14 years older than him.
If it's even,
so you can't say when you say young guy.
If it's even, they taking one of the rookies. If it's even across the board between the three, they taking one of the rookies.
See, I don't think they will. We'll see. We'll find out.
But here's the thing.
But I don't, guys. We have wildly differing opinions on what's going on in camp right now.
Yeah, the Saturday changed a lot of stuff.
I mean, I didn't see all the stuff from Saturday, but I saw enough to know that nobody is jumped past, and it's gonna take a lot for somebody to take. Now, I do think Joe Flacco could overtake Kenny Pickett.
No, Joe Flacco is
because he is what he is. He could be the number one. He probably is the best quarterback in camp.
Quick, Jay, before you go, right now, Jay, if the first game of the season, regular season, was tomorrow.
Yeah.
Everyone was healthy. You think Pickett would be the starter?
I do, and I did not a week ago.
Okay,
I did not.
Interesting.
But the people that are telling me that are people I trust implicitly, particularly at quarterback.
Now,
people that have seen him and that know the real the nuance to the position, which I don't. We really don't. I'm talking about people that played the position in the league for a long time.
I'll say this.
I trust their opinions. And now, I do think that this is a great thing for everybody.
I don't think it's good for Pickett.
And I would even say it's good for Kenny Pickett, and here's why. Kenny, if we were at a baseline coming in, did you improve or did you go down? His stock's got an arrow next to it going up. Mm-hmm. I don't think anybody can debate that or argue with that.
No.
I mean, I would listen to an argument, but I just don't think it would be valid. I do think that it's becoming more apparent to me that what Jason has been saying for 6 months is the case. Joe, to me, they're treating him like a camp body, which is kind of odd, but I think they've just decided, if we're going to lose, if we're going to be, why would we try to be 6-11? What does that get us? 0.
Well, listen,
if we're going to be bad, we're going to be 3-14.
This is how I see it. So, the question is, what does the Pickett injury mean for the quarterback competition? To me, it means it stabilizes the quarterback competition. When you got 4 quarterbacks in camp, that's not sustainable, and it looks more like organized dysfunction than anything else. So now you got traditional 3 quarterbacks in, and now the rep share
Sure.
It looks a little different, and people get the different opportunities
Which is why I think it's a
to
benefit.
prove what they can do. Now, we keep bringing up Joe Flacco and the fact that Joe Flacco has not gotten these many reps. And the argument is, well, the Browns know who he is.
Yeah.
He's a savvy veteran that have probably seen.
What are they going to learn from Joe Flacco getting number
Just
one
hear me out.
reps?
He's learned different variations of different offenses and defenses, right? But at 40 years old, if I'm going to be the starting quarterback, allegedly or assumingly, right, then I need to get chemistry and rhythm down with the guys that's going to be the number ones. People just acting like because he's 40 and he knows the offense that he don't need the reps too. This is training camp. Every quarterback that's going to be in the mix needs a fair shot to be able to get ready for the upcoming season. And I just don't think that you're doing Joe any services at all by saying, well, you know what, since you're 40 and since you know the offense, you don't need that many reps.
But
like,
watch,
you don't have to get ready for the season too.
I know what you're saying, and it sounds good in a vacuum. However, this dude 2 years ago came in and didn't know his receivers' names.
But that was 2 years ago.
I know it was. He was 39. No one thought he could do it at 39. I think what they're looking at with Joe is this is the definition of a seasoned, grizzled veteran. We're going to put him in any situation. If the LA Chargers need a quarterback in week 5 and Jim Harbaugh was to call up Joe Flacco, who had just got released by the Browns, he would go to the Chargers and he would kill it there too. Would his Achilles be at risk? Yes, he's 41. His body's breaking down. But what I'm saying is camp is about answering questions. I don't think they have a ton of questions after seeing Joe Flacco. The arm is clearly still there.
The arm is still there.
The brain doesn't erode. So he's there. Joe, we know what you are. Kenny, wow. Okay, we see you. You stepped up. You've impressed us. The chatter inside the Browns organization is, guys, we might got something here. We might have something. Now, the other two guys, this is why it's beautiful for them. And this is the thing I love most about it. The worst scenario for the Browns would have been that we're through with camp and we don't know who either of these guys are. Remember what Joe Thomas told us. We're going to find out, and we're going to find out fast. And now we're going to find out even faster because there's no one there to chew up their reps.
Absolutely. And here's the thing. So, you know, the problem is this. The elephant in the room is if they get Shedeur Sanders out here and he balls,
Dillon Gabriel won't see the field. That story would be over with.
Good luck.
What if he balls too?
There it is. Hey, listen, he could.
He could.
And frankly,
all of these scenarios are true. Neither could ball. Both could ball.
Frankly,
one or the other could ball.
But here's the thing. It's good luck putting the toothpaste back in the tube.
We're going to find out.
It's good luck putting the toothpaste back in the tube once you got it out. Because here's the thing. Now it's a difference between Kenny Pickett balling in practice in the first week in shorts and when these pads get on. Now when McNuggets, I looked at the rundown, he said, what's the difference in what's going on with the pads? We'll talk about that later on.
It's coming.
And the thing is, it's something to be said about national television and getting reps. Now this sets the picture for Shedeur Sanders and Dillon Gabriel playing pretty much predominantly the entire game, the first game.
I don't want to see anybody else in the preseason except for when, after the 2 weeks, and we know for sure that Pickett's healthy, I want to see him the last preseason game. Other than that, man, I got to tell you, we had a conversation with some friends of mine during my baseball weekend, big Browns fans. And we're like, okay, I love doing this. There's a pie, 100%. Cut the pie. Who gets the preseason reps? I said, I want 40% for Shedeur Sanders. I want 40% for Dillon Gabriel. I want 10%, maybe 15% for Kenny Pickett. I need 5% of Joe Flacco. Joe's not going to do anything that's going to make me go, oh, my God. I didn't know he could do that. Either way, good or bad. But I don't know who Shedeur Sanders is with live fire in a preseason game. And, obviously, the beauty of it is they've got the joint workouts. That's where the groundwork's going to be laid. Because that other team's going to come after him. They're going to want to hit him.
That's why if you Kenny Pickett, you could have solidified yourself and stamped.
He'll be there for that, though.
Stamped yourself as because listen, you got off to a nice start.
He'll likely be there for that. I'd be surprised if this is more than a 2-week thing.
Hey,
I'll be shocked.
That's a lot of practices.
It is. It is.
One day,
but he'll get the joint practices and 2 preseason games.
One day, listen, come on back out here. You got to get to it. sometimes we talk about this all the time. There's times where you can get injured, and that next dude that come in as a competitor, he don't come out.
Well,
you just don't want. I want to control my own mare on the field. If I'm playing good football, I'm leading the quarterback competition. The worst thing that I need is to come off the field and remind people, because guess what? He only has a 1-year deal. He's a free agent after this year. And you get very small opportunities to become a franchise quarterback in this league. And we talked about Sam Darnold and some of these other stuff, Geno Smith, Baker Mayfield. But listen, Kenny is not a happy camper right now. He is like, yo, put me on the field. I want to earn this thing. Now I think it resets things. I think Joe Flacco probably ends up as your day one starter, and now it gives you an opportunity to kind of see some of these other guys that weren't getting the reps. Now we'll see. It's up for them to take advantage of it this week.
And this is it. I mean, if you're either of these guys, when you hurt, you're never happy when someone gets hurt, especially a teammate. But when you get this news, I would have thought that you couldn't wait to get on the phone and call Pops and call Mom and call Girl and call all your boys and let them know it's on now, because now it's not a 4-way race. At least for the next whatever, it's a 3-way race, and we'll see what happens.
You mentioned perfect timing. I know we got to move on, Mike, but I think what happened Saturday and how the alignment of everything going into the first padded practice today is exactly that. You told me that, throughout most of the day Saturday, Shedeur wasn't getting many reps. Then he comes in late. He gets 3 full-team 11-on-11 reps, and he throws a touchdown in that period. He goes off to the field by himself. And now all of a sudden the head coach and the general manager is watching more intensely than what they have done the previous 3 days during camp, right? This is the day before, the day off. Then you get the news Kenny gets hurt, and both Shedeur and Dillon know the pads is coming on. And something inside of me is just, because you said, we don't know what Shedeur is and under the lights. Well, we don't know what Dillon is either. And so for both of these young men, they got to be chopping at the bit to get out here today and show what they can do.
And the beauty of it is, back to Joe's point, we're going to see quick.
We're going to find out.
We're going to find out.
This is what we want.
By September 1st, we're going to know. We're going to know. And, obviously there'll be works in progress. It doesn't mean that they're done improving, but at this point, you're trying to cram in as much football as you can before the season starts. And for them, they just got 33% more football.
And it's beautiful, Mike. It's going to be hot as hell outside today.
It is going to be hot as hell. And
not just today.
Earl and I will be out there tomorrow, so we'll be back on Wednesday with some in-person observations as well. We're going to talk about what putting on the pads means for the Browns here in a sec, but we got to talk a little Guardians first after a reminder that Game Time is an official sponsor of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. If you've ever decided at the last minute you want to head to the ball game with friends and family, whether it's a day game, a night game, you don't have tickets and suddenly you realize, I got to be there? Well, that's where Game Time comes in. It's the easiest way to grab last-minute tickets without the stress. With the money you save on tickets, you can get extra concessions, merch, even invite a bigger group to come with you. With Game Time, anything is possible. Game Time makes buying tickets fast and simple. Prices on the app actually drop the closer you get to first pitch, and they've got incredible last-minute deals. Clear seat views and a lowest price guarantee that takes the worry out of buying. So take the guesswork out of everything with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use promo code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Once again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. Jay, it was a big series against the Royals this weekend for the Cleveland Guardians, and Cleveland split the doubleheader on Saturday. Lost yesterday 4-1, but that first early afternoon extra innings loss, that one stung. I mean, it really stung to have Clase come in, lose on the 3-run homer, lose 2 or 3 from Kansas City. The Guardians now 8 games back behind Detroit, in the AL Central. They're 3.5 games out of that final wild card spot. Jay, how do you evaluate where the Guardians are now, just 3 days ahead of the MLB's trade deadline, with where they stand in relation to the division, the wild card, and losing 2 or 3 to Kansas City?
They're still in a very, very bad position. Very bad position, even though they've played much better the last 2 weeks, and really the rest of the division has kind of fallen apart. But my view hasn't changed. This is still Detroit's division to lose at this point, and they're trying. I mean, this is a ball club. You talk about falling off a cliff. I haven't seen this kind of. They were 60-40 Before that, they had even more than 20 games over 500. They are just nosediving. All that being said, we know who they are. They've definitely had a real rough stretch, but they're a good baseball team. They're going to figure it out. Just like the Guardians, they lost their 10 in a row. They came back and won 10 of 11. That's what baseball is. All that being said, the Royals, it's funny. This is baseball. It comes down to one pitch. One pitch in the Saturday game, game 1, the makeup of the doubleheader. They score a run in the top of the 10th. They've got a lead. Emmanuel Clase's got 2 on. India's at the plate. He's got a full count. He throws a pitch that he thought was strike 3. No, it was the previous hitter, not India. He walked the previous hitter. He loses him on a full count. The ball was outside the box.
Was it a strike?
A pitch had been called a strike much of the day.
Really?
And that's why Clase was mad. By the box, it was not a strike, but that pitch had been called a strike. So if you're Clase and you're watching from the bullpen and you're seeing, the first thing you do when you're a reliever, everybody thinks they sit on their tail for 8 innings. No, they're figuring out what's the zone. What's the umpire calling today? And you find that zone, and then you adjust what you do to it. Nobody wants to throw in the nitro zone. You want to find out, and as a starter, the first thing I do is I throw investigative pitches. I throw one up and out, one down and in.
Now see what's up.
What are we working with today? And then I always tell the umpire after the first inning, I'm like, I like that zone. I can work with that. Even if I hate that zone, I say that. Here's why. Okay, so that's it, right? That's our zone. Now we're established. So I know if I throw it there, I'm going to get a strike.
Because if I don't, now I can talk my...
If I don't, I'm like, then after the second inning, if the zone changed, I can just walk back and I can just simply say, what happened to your zone?
They're going to move that...
We got a moving target.
They're going to move to that tennis tracker on y'all. Y'all better stop playing.
Yeah, well, it's coming. No, that's coming. And I'm glad it's coming. But Clase's watching in the bullpen. He's seeing what's a strike, what's not. He knows that pitch had been a strike. He didn't get it. Now, you still have an opportunity to win the battle with India. He's up 1-2 in the count. He threw a cookie. That was just too good of a pitch. And a hitter like India is going to make him pay, and he did. So one pitch, and it's the difference of winning the series and losing the series. I'm not crumbling that the Guards lost 2 of 3. They're on the road. They're supposed to lose to a team that's about as good as they are, and the Royals are right there with the Guardians. I say all that to say this. I still don't think they're winning the division. I don't think there's a very, very, very small chance anybody catches Detroit. Detroit's going to get on a hot streak. The other thing is when you look at the wild card stretch, or when you look at the wild card, it's still what it was going into the All-Star break.
Same thing.
There's 6 within 4, and there's only 3 seats. So it's not like musical chairs and there's 4 walking around 3 seats. There's 6 walking around 3 seats. And go back to your point about honey baked ham.
Yeah.
Someone's going to get butted out of the 3 guys are going to get butted out of that playoff picture.
And Kansas City is all of a sudden chilling right up next to you.
Here they are. And, in fact, Minnesota's just a game and a half behind the Guardians, I think. So my view on things hasn't changed dramatically, even though it was once 15 games, now it's 8 games. So certainly you've trimmed 7 in 2.5 weeks. That's unthinkable. Can you do that again in the last 6 weeks of the season? I kind of doubt it. Last 8 weeks of the season? I kind of doubt it, but they might.
Jay, how many years ago was that, man? Help me out. I'm trying to go down memory lane. But the Guardians, post-All-Star break, was like 3rd in the division. They get hot. They go on this crazy streak. It comes down to the last series of the season. I think we're playing against Chicago.
Yeah.
And Chicago is
I don't remember the year.
But you know what I'm referencing.
Maybe it was 15.
And so that gives me some optimism.
Sure. Well, look what Detroit did last year. Guys, Detroit last year.
They did it. They never did it us.
Detroit, Detroit was a seller at the All-Star break, and everybody around baseball said, well, Detroit folded their tent. But someone forgot to tell the players they folded their tent, and they came from the dead. Like they had their last rites administered on the deadline day. That was it. Baseball God said, good luck in your afterlife. And all of a sudden, the players said, no, you know what? We're going to show management that we were wrong. That's when you find out the internal fortitude of a team.
They got to stop her. When you got to stop her at the front of your rotation.
It helps, but that's only every 5th day. I mean, that's only every 5th day. Their hitters got hot. They went on a ridiculous streak. They got a wild card. They won a wild card series. It came within a game of going to the ALCS.
I don't know if I can see them chasing down Detroit for the division title, But, I sat here and I told Boy last week I was all in. I believe this team can still make the playoffs as a wild card team.
Much more likely.
I think just the recent run they went on was more of to the mean of what we expected them to be quite honest. I think they have been playing below average baseball for the better part of the season up until that recent 12-game streak to where they won 10 of the last 12 games. But I just look at this team and I think Jose is going to stay consistent. I think Quan is going to stay consistent. And as long as guys like Rocchio and Angel Martinez and Bo Naylor can somehow be just average or just like better contributors than what they've been throughout, I look at that. I look
just
at the fact
consistent.
More consistent. I look at that. I look at the fact that we played the majority of our remaining games at home, and we have the easiest strength of schedule of all of baseball. And
you know what, though?
Feel like that maybe we I know we talk about Shane Bieber.
We're going to talk about Bieber in a bit.
I just think that
he's
they can make a run.
X-factor here, guys.
I think they can make a run for the playoffs.
Yeah, if, and that's a big if, he's the X-factor. One thing before you go, G. For me, yesterday was a microcosm of their season. They finally got the first three guys figured out. I've been saying forever, what are we doing at number 2? We know who number 2 should be. They finally got that right. Yesterday, first inning, hit, walk, hit, bases loaded, nobody out. But there's the problem. After that, your lineup gets bad quick. Real quick. Shallow fly ball from Manzo. Santana strikes out. Arias grounds out to the pitcher. Inning over. And right there, I know it's hyperbole to say, oh my God. But when you waste one of those opportunities in a game, you usually lose.
So and
they lost.
If they got 1 through 3 figured out, when everybody's healthy, and I ask Bull this, where's my boy playing every day?
Who?
Angel. Where's he playing?
I like him where he is right now. I'm fine. I'm fine. For me, I saw enough in May to say he's our 2-hitter. Let's stop goofing around here. He's it. He does a lot of things really well. It's not like this lineup is loaded with guys that we can't put on the bench. I can think of 5 of them off the top of my head. 5 guys in our lineup I'd be fine playing without. And the terrible thing is, every once in a while you see this flash of October Rocchio. And I'm like, oh, okay, he's back. And then you see bad at-bats, blank moments. Same with Arias. There's times I watch him and I'm like, God, his talent is intoxicating. His arm is insane. And then I see him make a base running blunder or 1, 2, 3 bad swings on all pitches in an at-bat for a strikeout. And I'm like, if you're going to strike out, put up a fight. So there's other guys too. It's not just Rocchio and Arias. Bo Naylor
like that. He don't put up no damn fights when he had to play it either.
Man, he's frustrating. He's frustrating because I love him personally. I think he's a great guy.
No plate discipline.
None. And so I'm thinking that the Guardians probably, if they haven't already, they're going to come to the conclusion real soon. We need a catcher in the organization that's in the pipeline soon.
They're just so the problem with the Guardians is we're used to them having dominating pitching. We're used to saying, okay, well, at least our bullpen. If you looked at anything what the Guardians did when they're savvy and when they're tough to really beat and they get on people's nerves is when the defensive part is working, the base running part is working, and you got guys that are going deep in the count, doing smart things at the plate. And when you got to a certain inning, 5, 6, 7 inning, you had a nice relief. You had your relievers coming in. Your closer could come in and shut things down. But we're talking about Clase giving up the 3-run homer, right? We're not talking about you had one of the best bullpens ever last year. It was a record year, and the bullpen has not been the same. You can't compete if you don't have anything that you're elite at. They are not elite at anything, and then they're superior.
They're elite at third base and left field.
That's it.
That is it.
And when it comes to the plate, you can't count on anybody. You can't count on them. Like you said, bases loaded, and
nobody out.
Nobody out. Hit a fly ball, man.
Drive a ball.
Hit a ball. Just hit it deep.
Yep. Go the other way. Do whatever you need to do.
Dive in front of a pitch.
Make a walk. Do something.
Do something. But when you don't have a lineup that can get you past 3-4 runs, when you get to the playoffs, even if those teams have deficiencies, you know there's 3 or 4 places in that lineup where it's trouble at.
Yeah, you're right. The only hope is, and this is the big caveat and the elephant in the room, what is Shane Bieber? We're going to talk about him a little bit later. He had his most recent rehab outing was rained out, so he'll probably get one more before the trade deadline. This season all boils down to one thing, Shane Bieber. Do they think if he's healthy and he looks great, do they think that they're either going to use him as a chip to get pieces for the future, or, because he can leave after this year and they get nothing if he walks, or do you think, hell, we can use him as a chip on the field and we might be able to make a run? And sadly, I feel like it's more the former than the latter. I think that if I had to make a decision right now, I'd say if you can get a sizable return for him, because he's a renting arm, go for it.
We'll have that conversation coming up in the second hour of UCSS. We're going to get back to the Browns and what padded practice means. But first, Epicor. Today's episode is brought to you by Epicor. Every team knows the value of hard work, of taking pride in what you build and practicing every detail to get the best results. But no one player, no matter how amazing, can do it all alone. Working together makes getting the win easier. And at Epicor, the all-stars are the hardworking manufacturers and distributors who create and deliver the things we all need, from aerospace to electrical to medical devices. From small businesses with big dreams to growing enterprises with global visions, we'll equip you with the right tools to move forward. Think ahead and lead the way, because as the clock ticks down, you need to make the most out of every hardworking minute. Easier doesn't cut corners. Easier finds the lane. Discover your success at easierwithepicor.com. Before we get to the Browns, I just wanted to do 5 minutes very quickly on an appreciation segment for Tom Hamilton, who is officially in the Baseball Hall of Fame. It was Hall of Fame weekend in Cooperstown. He was enshrined alongside the likes of Ichiro, of CC Sabathia, and a few others. Earl, real quick, we'll do this kind of around the horn style, but Tom Hamilton's as good as it gets. We are lucky to have him as the play-by-play voice in Cleveland, and it was a well-deserved, well-earned honor for him this weekend to be put in the Hall of Fame with the best of the best.
Man, when you grow up in Cleveland and you're a diehard sports fan, you understand that this city was blessed to have a big three as far as play-by-play, right? You had Joe Tate, you had the late, great Jim Donovan, and, of course, you got Tom Hamilton. And, you know, when he took over calling games for the Indians in the late 90s, this was still around the time to where the Indians was a really damn good baseball team. And I can remember being in the car with my dad and my brother, just listening to the radio broadcast of the Cleveland Indians and always being able to paint a picture in my head based on his commentary. I think Tom Hamilton is the GOAT. I think he is truly, truly one of the pioneers and staples in this city, and I love when people get the opportunities to get their roses while they're still alive, because more often than not, situations like this, they often occur after somebody passes away. Yeah. And I'm just glad he was able to get this honor while he's still here. So congratulations to you, Tom, and I look forward to hearing you tonight on the broadcast.
Yeah, man, he got one of them. Like, he got a God-given ability. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, just like when you watch Jordan or LeBron or Magic and you listen to some of the highlights, his ability to, like Earl said, the ability to paint a picture and to tell a story all while weaving a narrative and just staying on track of what's going on is you know, that type of talent is just rare. Like, he's up there with the greatest to ever do it. And you nice when you are a walking Hall of Famer, right? When you still got time left to go, and
he's still working.
He's still killing the game. And the thing I always like the most about him is just him as a person, as a guy who gets in the industry, and, like, you know, you grow up listening to him. Like Earl said, you grow up in them cars. You grow up, you know, in the hot, in the heat. And with the windows rolled down, listening to the game with your dad. How many people still listen to the radio while they at the game because they still want to hear his call? And for him to be, you meet a person, and for him to be like, he knows your name, he talks to you, he gives you, and he's just a real solid human being, humble, doesn't come off like, because there's a lot of people that can come off as, I'm him, because I'm a walking Hall of Famer. He never gives you that vibe. He always, it seems like he's talking directly to you in the room, And he's just a very, very solid individual, great human, and he's just great. He's the best to do it, man. So I salute him. And like you said, we got lucky when it came to the people that was calling the games, right? When you have Jim Donovan, Joe Tate, and then Tom Hamilton. So congratulations, and we look forward to you getting a million more games and us getting that World Series.
Oh, way back.
God. What's crazy about that? And by the way, if you get a chance, it's on YouTube. You can, at some point during the day today, take a look at his greatest calls. It's 30 minutes. They're incredible. Everyone, you'll have goosebumps for 30 minutes. Number one.
Before you go,
Yeah.
the Jose Ramirez, Tim Anderson
Well, that
fight,
was my next point.
That's
Can you guys think of a Hall of Famer?
no.
Whose most famous call had nothing to do with the sport that they
At
call?
all.
And Tom would hear me say that and say, Jay, that's my most famous call. Tom, I'm not making that up.
It is.
It's just go ask Guardians and Indians
Down
fans.
goes Anderson.
Down goes Anderson. And it was all, like, there's no way you can prepare for that moment. That's out of left field. And it happened, and a play-by-play man's job is to describe the action of what's going on. If you were listening to that game and not watching it,
Thought it was Max Kellerman.
you knew what was going on because he called it perfectly. And now when you watch it, it's always with the video, and you're like, man,
Can I ask
got
you?
it.
So you've done obviously this format. You've done the debate format. You've done news, and you've also done play-by-play.
I have. In fact, he was my mentor. He brought me in to my first Hall of Fame, or my first play-by-play job.
So as somebody who's done play-by-play, what makes him so good for people that as a layman may not understand why it is good? You just know because you hear it.
Appropriate excitement. What does that mean? When it's the third inning and somebody robs a home run, that's a big deal. But it better not be your top gear, because they might do it in the ninth with 2 outs. Where do you go from there? So there's a scale of, oh my God, I've never seen that before. Down goes Anderson. Okay, and then somewhere below that falls everything else. Like obviously, the ultimate would be a walk-off home run to win a World Series. Okay, it can't get any bigger. That better be your highest gear.
That's Rajay Davis.
Tom, and go listen to the Rajay Davis call. Now, the interesting thing about the Rajay Davis call was, and I was sitting in a dugout suite on the first baseline, and I got to see the trajectory of the ball, okay, at field level. I didn't know it was gone. I didn't think it was going to be gone. It was a line drive. And when you listen to Tom's call, it was so appropriate, his timing. It happened, boom, boom, line drive, out. But the likelihood of that happening was so rare that he couldn't believe it, just like all 40,000 people in the stadium could not believe it. We didn't believe what we were looking at, neither did he. And his call for that is just so on point. His enthusiasm always matched the moment. And by the way, one thing that I really appreciate about Tom Hamilton, Tom is a paid broadcaster for the Cleveland Guardians. If he sees someone on the other team do something great, a lot of home radio announcers are homers, and they'll be like, well, that's gone. Yeah, all right, 4-2. Not Tom. If it's a big moment in the game, it's a big moment in the game. I also listened to his Hall of Fame speech. It's about 10, maybe 15 minutes, maybe 20. I can't remember. It was so good. It went so fast. He hit all the nails in that speech. He talked about all the people that meant stuff to him. And as I was listening to him, I'm like, wow. Looking back on my career, I was 27 maybe, and I'm working in Columbus, Ohio, and at Channel 10, and I find out that I get a nice package of games to call Ohio State Buckeyes basketball games. And the way I was going to do it was I was going to be the voice for the Ohio State markets on most of the games. Some of the games, it was the Creative Sports, which was ESPN+. Tom was going to do the game for the neutral audience, okay? So for all the other markets that would watch it, it would be Tom Hamilton. And first of all, when I learned this, I was just like, oh my God, the great Tom Hamilton. Now, he was fairly early in his career, but I idolized Tom from the first time I heard his voice in 1990. He was tremendous. I would ask him questions about the broadcast, about how to handle certain things. He was the kindest, still is, one of the kindest human beings I've ever met in this business. Countless times he has told me. I realized pretty early on that was not a track that I wanted to follow. I enjoyed interviews. I like even this. I like this. I like interviews. That's what I like doing. For the 2 years that I could do it for the Browns and I did Club 46, that was the highlight of my career. It wasn't ESPN, although I interviewed everybody at ESPN because First Take was an interview show. But I love doing interviews, and I learned that really early on. And I told Tom, I go, I don't really love the play-by-play thing because it just, to me, I always say, could I see myself doing like 162 games? Never. I hated the travel. I don't know how they do it. But Tom helped me with things. He's like, well, here's how you do it. Here's what you hand. And I used him as a resource because he was so giving of his time. A lot of people in this business, you'll find, aren't like that.
No.
They don't want to share what they have. They don't want you stepping on their turf. Now, not that I was ever going to be a threat to Tom Hamilton, but he would have been that way with anybody who was asking questions about how do I do this? And when I realized that, the play-by-play gig really wasn't for me, I like doing it as a myriad of other things, but I like doing the interviews. And he said, focus on doing the interviews and find that job that allows you to focus on doing the interviews. Tom is one of the greatest that we've ever had in this market. He is, if I had to listen to one sporting event, now I'm a baseball guy, and Jim Donovan would have been my voice on football, but if I had to listen to one sporting event the rest of my life, and I was asked who I want to call it, I would say, well, it's got to be a baseball game. It's got to be Tom Hamilton. He is such a deserving honor, and he was so humble giving his speech. The man deserves that award, and congratulations to Tom Hamilton.
That is the highest compliment you can give. We got to pivot back and talk a little more Browns. A quick reminder that Yahoo Fantasy is the official fantasy football sponsor of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. We're back on fantasy this year. Thank goodness we overrided Bull in his decision to switch away from Yahoo. And whether you're a first-timer or a veteran making your millionth league, Yahoo is the fantasy league you need to be using to celebrate 28 years of fantasy greatness. Yahoo Fantasy is dropping 28 big new features over 28 days, giving you more ways to play, more ways to draft, and more ways to win. It all begins on August 4th. Stay tuned and get started by creating or joining Yahoo Fantasy Football League at yahoofantasy.com/LockedOnNFL. That is yahoofantasy.com/LockedOnNFL. And let's make this fantasy season the best one yet. Gee, we teased it a little while ago, but pads come on for the Cleveland Browns today. They practice at 2 o'clock, their first padded practice of training camp. You mentioned and kind of teased it in our quarterback conversation, but what differences are there in practice, and what little nuances should we be looking for now that pads will be on that maybe we didn't see in just shorts and jerseys earlier? How much of a difference do the pads make, and how much of a different evaluation when we get from these guys, considering they're actually in their game-worn new stuff?
It's night and day. From the first standpoint, it's the physicality up front. The 3 days I was out at camp, I wanted to take a look at the offensive line, and they had an offensive, individual period, and there's a renewed sense of footsteps, worrying about where you're going, making sure that you have power steps, making sure that you're getting off the ball pad level. You could get a little bit of a look when you're doing it without, pads and helmets and things like that. But now things like pad level, things like how you run the football, things like how you come out of breaks, all of that stuff is more evident. You're going to be able to get a much cleaner look and see exactly what guys can do. And in terms of the quarterback situation, now you have, and Myles Garrett is coming off the corner, and now it's more physical. Now we can see where guys can push guys into the backfield. I noticed on Thursday, Dillon Gabriel, he has some issues when the football or when the pass rush is in his face, when the pocket is closing and he has to find a window over 6'8" DeJuan Jones, and he got to move and step up. He kind of tends to sail passes high because it's a restriction of his vision. Also, you're gonna figure out with the snaps. Now, when you're snapping the ball to the quarterback, now you got somebody putting hands on you, knocking you in the backfield. The snaps, so you're gonna be watching this, whether people get that. Now, instead of 7-on-7s, there's always a physical presence available now, because now people is looking like, I'm going to put the forearm on you real quick. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to go ahead and give you a little extra out of that bump. So everything ratchets up physically. And Kevin Stefanski had something the other day, Pearl. I saw it on Instagram. And he was telling them, guys, hey, it was hot out here today.
Get used to it.
Get used to it. You saw that too? He said, get used to it. It wasn't no, you notice, this ain't no Greenbrier action.
Nah.
This ain't at the golf course.
That's why I brought up that point. Like, when they get out there today, it's going to be about 96, 97 degrees. And I think that's perfect for how training camp is being ran this year. You know, G, when I was out there Wednesday, I saw the offensive line coach and the defensive line coach communicating a lot, working in unison.
Mm-hmm.
We all know football is won and lost in the trenches, and you truly can't get a real evaluation of your overall team until the pass come on and you see what your trench play look like.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's exciting to see, you know, this offensive line go against what I believe is the best unit on this team, the defensive line. I'm excited to see Mason Graham actually put on pads, line up next to Myles Garrett, and see how that looks, right? That's exciting. I'm excited to see guys like Isaiah McGuire and Alex Wright, you know, that's on the opposite end of Myles. What improvements have they made from last season, you know, throughout this offseason up until this particular point? When the pass come on, man, the fatigue level is different. When the pass come on, the physicality is different. When the pass come on, the vision is different, right? Everything about just the whole process is gravely different, and you're going to really see who are truly game managers and game breakers, you know, starting with this practice. I think the heat is going to play a pivotal part, but the Browns need, you know, this type of training camp that's going on. They need to be out there in the heat. The practice need to be physical, and I hope that Kevin Stefanski have as many full padded practices as he possibly can, because that's how you're going to get a true evaluation on either one of these quarterbacks. That's how you're going to get a true evaluation on the players that's playing in the trenches. That's how you're going to get a true evaluation on some of these receivers, right? So it's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting times, and I'm really, really looking forward to it.
Jay, look, I'm going to keep it real. Quinshon Judkins hurt. That hurt their soul. They were going to run this man ragged in a good way, and now they just signed another dude off the practice squad. Right. Somebody from UFL or
34
something.
ain't been available the whole first 4 days.
We have not seen Jerome Ford at camp.
I know.
You got Dylan Sampson. So, but Kevin Stefanski says, guys, the only way you're going to build your body up physically and get that is to be in practice, and it's hot, and you got pads on and hitting. So we're going to see what it's going to be, because this whole thought process that we going back to this run thing, that sound good. But will your offensive line be able to hold up at that age?
I don't think so. And they don't have the bell cow. I mean, I still think Judkins may end up being the bell cow, but he's not here. So, and
there's no sign of when he's. They're very mum about it.
No, I mean,
I've heard nothing.
I mean, I would. Somebody told me if I were a Browns fan, I would take him out of my mind until at least week 7.
Probably further than that.
I hope not. I asked that question. I said, is there a chance that this could linger beyond that? He goes, oh, there's every chance in the world it could, but based on precedent and what we know, it's most likely going to be 6 weeks. So, you know, he reminded me of this. I'd forgotten about it. We were both at ESPN at the time. He said, you remember Ray Rice? I said, yeah. He goes, you remember how that pivoted when the video came out? Yeah. I said, oh, listen, I've never seen video change a story.
Didn't he get 2 games?
Initially. And remember, the league and the fans, there were fans that were going nuts. And then they said, well, we're going to look at and then the video came out. And he never touched a blade of grass in the NFL again.
The video was so bad, people forget Ray Rice was good.
Well, now listen. Here's the thing. Listen, Ray Rice wasn't just good. Ray Rice was
the
Pro Bowl caliber at the peak of his career. Yeah. And here's what I was reminded that I don't know that I forgot about it, but I was reminded of this for sure. The accusation is he punched her in the mouth. What do you think that looked like?
Pictures always.
Not just a grown man, an NFL specimen punched a woman in the mouth. What he said is what I fear. Let's hope that a airport security camera or something didn't catch this.
I mean,
because think about how, and why have we not heard anything? I don't know. I would like to hear something, but I don't know if there's a negotiation going on between his lawyers and the woman that filed the charges, the alleged victim in this case. I don't know what's going on, but I agree with you. There's an information desert going on that we're rolling through here, and that scares me.
And I think that's why, like, these kind of conversations, man, we got to be very, very careful because we know very little. I hope there's no quote-unquote negotiation going on.
I would hope not either.
Like, that shouldn't be a thing. But I think about this a lot from Andrew Berry's standpoint. You know, Andrew said that he loses sleep at night because of these and not necessarily because of what happened, because of the vetting process, right? It almost like, damn, man, I thought I crossed every T and dotted every I when I was doing my evaluation of Quinshon Judkins, and now look. And so because of decisions made in the past by this organization, you find yourself in a very peculiar situation with Quinshon Judkins because you can't give him any guaranteed money. Like, if you give Quinshon any guaranteed money, that's a bad look on the organization, right?
Because it comes back to people going to say, well, you already gave Deshaun Watson this guaranteed bread. Like, you Mike Hall Jr. was at practice a couple days after it happened, right? So this is why, and look, all those situations, and we done talked about this before, and it's frustrating, but when he said he loses sleep at night, I say, oh, well, they going through it behind closed doors. They are. Like, and here's the thing, Jay. I know we keep saying, yeah, they're going to be bad. Yeah, they're going to be. Listen, I'm here to let y'all know something, man. The Judkins thing happened. You let Nick Chubb walk, who, by the way, is the number one back.
Number one back.
Texas.
Just wait, guys.
No one back.
Joe Mixon.
So you know my co-host of the Ultimate 216 show also works for the Houston Texans organization. And I've actually so numerous times. What's the vibe on Nick Chubb down there in Houston? Oh man, they love him down here. They
well,
excited.
On that note, we need Jonathan Wells. Can we, guys? Can we? I can reach out if we need to, but we need Jonathan Wells on the show. And Jonathan works for the Texans.
I'm Mr. Jonathan.
No, that's my guy.
So here's what I'm hearing about. And not only is Nick Chubb the best back on the Texans roster right now,
he's healthy.
I've been told that you'd never know he went through what he went through.
He
guys,
healthy.
Our nightmare. And you know, when you break up with the girl, the world you should live in is, I don't care what she does, go do her thing. I hope she's good. I hope she's happy.
But
when you find out that she's with the big man on campus, that doesn't feel the same way.
Not when you a Scorpio. Under no circumstances.
Under no circumstances. Not when you were, hey, G, tell him.
Under no circumstances.
You moving on. Talking about you doing better than
I'm a Cancer man. I'm like, you be you.
You a water sign, so you should feel the same way.
No, I don't, man. I'm like, you.
I want you to be mid at best. Mid at best.
You see,
I
don't. I want him to be. I love Nick Chubb, and I want him to have a 1,200-yard, 10-touchdown season. I do. And here's why: Nick Chubb is a tremendous human being. You guys, is this going to be the first thing we got wrong here in Cleveland?
Bro,
is that going to be the reason we don't win the Super Bowl this year? No, we got all kinds of stuff.
21 going to be on red zone like this.
Listen, I hope he is.
I was coming out the driveway and I heard them say. I don't even be listening to Sirius XM. They said, and news out of Houston.
Oh, yeah.
Joe Mixon will be out until the first game. He better be on that Kenny Pickett game because I'm going to tell you what, Joe Mixon, you might want to get back in a hurry because when they see it and they asked Nick Chubb, they cut to the. I said, this has to be divine information for me. They go to Nick Chubb at the press conference and say, yeah, right now, I'm it's a 2-year injury. I've been down in the place where I'm doing all the my training I've done from day one, and I was able to do everything that I've been doing. So I'm just I said, this is wild.
No. First of all, what's wild to me is seeing him wear a Houston Texans shirt in the interviews or in uniform.
So
I got to tell you, that just dings my soul.
You've heard what I've heard, man. Nick Chubb is down there. He looks healthy.
Oh.
He looks fresh.
Put Jonathan Wells on
this
the
is
we got to get him on because
so
I think we've had him on before, haven't we?
We did. We've had Jonathan on many times. I've got it. If you need it, I can reach out to him and get him on. But
this is the problem. I know that we said that they got all the time in the world, But if you Andrew Berry, you gotta be sitting up at night saying, "Yeah, I got these draft picks."
He losing sleep at night.
But did I set this up for the next guy? Under no circumstances.
He losing sleep at night.
No circumstances do I feel. Listen, now Kevin Stefanski looked like he didn't have a separate conversation. He looks completely unbothered, Jay. It looks like they done told
He told AB, that's your problem, not mine.
the unbothered. I was looking intently. I said, "Dang, Kev looked fresh out here. His beard was looking trimmed up." I look at what's the name? I look at Andrew Berry. He dressed in all black. He like, listen, Nick Chubb is balling. Junkins ain't even under contract.
Help.
Kenny Pickett got pulled a hamstring week 1.
Oh, Lord.
Joe, I'm trying to figure what's going out. Now, here's the problem. That don't say 6 wins. And on top of this, we still looking for a receiver.
Yo, and the receiver you signed ain't even working with the first team.
He over there on the side. And your boy, big body, he look like he's supposed to be a 3,000-yard receiver.
And here's the crazy part. You draft a
And
quarterback.
19 is hurt.
You draft a quarterback that's left-handed that totally, if he hypothetically was to be in the fold, makes DeJuan Jones lock it down the left tackle position totally irrelevant.
This is
Well, it
wild.
makes it.
They
not
got all
totally
kind of
irrelevant,
problems.
But your right tackle better get a lot better.
They got all kind of problems.
This is crazy. They already down to the.
You know what it feels like? I love this analogy because it's so true. It feels like we're building the airplane while it's in the air. And here's what that means. If you're going to have an undertaking as important as taking your body and a lot of weight off the ground, you better have a plan. And it better be a really good plan. And then, if you lose an engine, you better have a really good backup plan.
And a good pilot.
Or you could say, you know what? I see everybody's flying these days. Let's see. Buy one of those Piper Cubs off the internet. Let's see if we can get this thing up in the air. And then you get it up in the air, and it's rickety, and the engines are bad, and the wings are flopping, and you're like, okay, now what do we got to do to make this thing stay in the air? That's what I feel like we're doing with the Cleveland Browns. Other teams have a plan. Like the Steelers, what are they about? They're about defense. They've got a point on the horizon. And by the way, that point has not changed over 50 years with stability and ownership. They've had 3 head coaches in my lifetime. They've had, very few general manager changes. They know what they got a blueprint. And what they do is they just take the parts when they get bad, and then they go over to the part factory, the draft, and they find new ones. And they're really good at finding new ones. And that's how you keep the plane in the air and make it better at the same time.
They just go to Ohio State and find them.
Yeah, they do, after we pass on them.
Yeah.
What we have is you see the plane up in the air and black smoke's coming out of the engine, and it's all rickety and wobbly, and you hear the engine start and stop, and like, oh God, this is going to be a dumpster fire. And you look out, and then the window goes down in the airplane, and you see parts flying out. I don't know if these parts, I don't know what this means. Let's get rid of that. Boom, there goes Baker Mayfield. I don't know what this is. Whoa, there goes Nick Chubb. Well, where are you getting your parts? And are they reliable?
Well,
That's what I feel like as a Browns fan.
Reliable is the premise of our next question, whether or not a certain guy can stay healthy enough to be counted on. And this topic is brought to us by Game Time. You ever decide at the last minute to head to a ball game with friends or family? Maybe it's on a game day and suddenly you realize, I got to be in the stands. Well, that's exactly where Game Time comes in. It's the easiest way to grab last-minute tickets without the stress. With the money you save on tickets, you can splurge on food, drinks, merch, or even invite a bigger group to come with you. Game Time makes it all possible. You can take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Just download the app, create an account, and use promo code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Once again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last-minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. G, you just mentioned Cedric Tillman. He left practice on Saturday with a lower leg injury. Or Friday, left practice on Saturday. Kevin Stefanski said they dodged a bullet. It's not that serious. He'll be back at some point. But the knock on Cedric Tillman coming out of Tennessee was injuries. Struggled to stay healthy. Last season, he had the concussion that cost him the second half of his season. You see his season stats on the screen. The majority of those numbers came in a 3-game stretch with one Jameis Winston, including his game-winning touchdown against the Baltimore Ravens. He's been hurt in each of his first 2 NFL seasons in differing injuries. They haven't been the same thing over and over. But, G, are we reaching the point with Cedric Tillman where he may be talented, he may end up being super productive, but all these little injuries are prohibiting him and stopping him from being a guy the Browns can truly count on as a full-time contributor. Do you think he'll ever be healthy enough to be that?
I mean, listen, it's a track record with injuries, and the Cleveland Browns track record with receivers is just bad. It's just, look, you look at Cedric Tillman and you go out there, and I made it a point to go watch him in drills, and he looks like a guy that should be getting 1,300 yards a year. He just looks like it. All the things. But you go, you once again look at practice, and he goes out and leaves with a lower body injury, according to Kevin Stefanski. And they said they dodged the bullet. But, I'm watching a lot of this stuff, and it just goes back to the evaluation process. Their ability to identify talented receivers is just very bad. I mean, the fact that you have to go get, Deontay Johnson and all of the stuff that, has, whether you talk about character issues or whatever the case may be, the disgruntled nature that he was with Baltimore, and then you get him, and now Deontay Johnson is down there with the 3s and the 4s. It's tough to me because I've never quite understood the Browns, their thought process on receivers. It's almost like every time you ask them about it and you look around the league and you look at what the meta is for a good offense, you need 2 receivers. And the Browns consistently get 1 every other year and then say, I like my receiving room. They had Amari Cooper. And they're like, okay, well, let's go get Jerry Jeudy. And then Amari Cooper fell off, and they're like, nah, we got Jerry Jeudy. They consistently got 1 receiver in the possible, and we keep mentioning tight ends. Like, no, we got to stop that. You can have 2 things at once, tight ends and receivers. They don't make up for that.
It seems like to me.
Not us.
Not us.
It seems like to me, fellas, that Andrew Berry likes projected potential. Just think about the guys he's drafted: the Cedric Tillmans, the Anthony Schwartz, the Donovan Peoples-Jones, right? He finds...
Throw David Bell in there.
Or the David Bell. He tries to find these guys...
Is he on a milk carton somewhere, David Bell? Where was he?
He tries to find these guys that might have these 1 and 2 intangibles that every other GM then overlooked, and I'm going to draft that guy, and then I'm going to get the most out of him because nobody else saw this, and I did, and it hasn't worked. The crazy part about it is, to me, out of all the receivers he's drafted, I think Cedric Tillman might be the most talented, but he comes with the injury history. I feel like this: the NFL stands for not for long, and we know that in the NFL, injuries happen early and often, and you can have injuries occur to more than one player that play that same position. And so that goes back to the organization on making sure that you have quality depth at the wide receiver position, because you're drafting a guy who has an injury history, and there is a strong probability that he won't be available to you for the entire season. And so what you want to do is maximize on his production when he is available. I know later in the show we're going to talk about Lonzo Ball, but Mike, don't that kind of sound like the Lonzo Ball situation when it comes to Cedric Tillman?
Yeah, a little bit. We actually may get a surprise guest here momentarily, so I don't know if we'll get to the Lonzo Ball conversation. But
it
in
sounds
theory,
similar.
yes, it does sound very familiar.
I would agree with that. I hadn't thought that prior, but I think you're right. Like, there's baggage, there's issues, but boy, if in a perfect world, but when do the Browns ever live in a perfect world?
Never.
Like, you're like, hey, man, this guy, he slipped. He has talent. We all saw him at Tennessee. We know what he can be if he's healthy, but guess what?
He wasn't healthy.
So let me make sure I got something else just in case he's not available, right?
Yeah.
And so it's going to be tough.
What do you think of Luke Floria, by the way, guys? Luke has been pretty damn impressive for an undrafted free agent.
Let me tell you something.
Works his tail
like
too.
All the above.
He's from here. Of course he works his tail
listen,
off.
and every time I see him doing something, he catching the football.
Yeah.
Hey, listen. Yeah. Hey, we'll take it. I just think that the Browns have this thing where it sounds great in a vacuum that we're going to run this ball and it's going to be great. Listen, man, if you do not have downfield threats, you are going to be in trouble. Because as of today, if I was a defensive coordinator for the Cleveland Browns, I'm not scared of anything you got. I don't feel Jerry Jeudy is running by me. We'll let him get his underneath routes off, and then we'll corral him. We'll make sure that we don't give up too many big plays or get points. We're not scared of the fact that you're going to have a ball control offense and that you're going to be able to make field goals because you're going to be kicking a lot of them this year. We don't believe in that. You're going to
try a lot of them.
Yeah, you're going to try a lot of them. Your quarterback, Joe Flacco, we know what he is. You got a couple of rookies after that. No one else scares you on that side of the football. And so what are you guys planning on doing? Like, where's the threat? Where's the pressure offensively?
Play Myles Garrett at fullback.
And we had that conversation too.
Hey,
remember?
He might be our most productive player.
You talk about a threat on the offense, play him at fullback. There you go.
This is tough. I mean, Cedric Tillman, he had some flashes, but then he missed. I mean, I can't get mad because it's a concussion, but it was like 7 weeks.
I know, and you know what? You can't get mad because it's a concussion, but here's my thing. I can't get excited because it's another injury. And that's what's key. You know, it's almost like, yeah, we'll see. If we ever get to him, we'll see. It's kind of like where we are with Judkin right now. Yeah, I'm excited if he plays, but the if part is a big part of it. Do we have Rob?
We do. This is the quickest we've ever had should we get a guest on? Yes. And now he's officially in the queue. We're going to bring in Rob Parker here in 1 second.
My man.
After a quick word from Epicor. Today's episode of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show is brought to you by Epicor. Every team knows the value of hard work, of taking pride in what you build, in practicing every detail to get the best results. But no one player, no matter how amazing, can do it all alone. Working together makes getting the win easier. At Epicor, the all-stars are the hardworking manufacturers and distributors who create and deliver the things we all need, from aerospace to electrical to medical devices, from small businesses with big dreams to growing enterprises with global visions. We'll equip you with the right tools to move forward, think ahead, and lead the way, because as the clock ticks down, you need to make the most out of every hardworking minute. Easier doesn't cut corners. Easier finds the lane. Discover your success at easierwithepicor.com. And with that, we are thrilled to welcome in Rob Parker to the show. How you doing today, Rob?
I'm doing great. How are you?
My man, look at Rob with the gray beard, bro. I haven't seen you in a minute. Woo.
I know. Unbelievable, Jay. Unbelievable, man.
Hey.
Man, that gray hair, when I first got it, I swear to you, I was in the mirror going like this, like there's something in my hair. And then I realized it was my hair. You know what I mean?
Me too. I keep thinking, did I walk under a powder? What's going on right now?
You know, Jay, let me tell you something. You know, Rob had me on a couple of weeks ago. We was talking about Shedeur.
That's why he's on.
And the reps is coming, Rob. They on the way. The reps is coming today and tomorrow. I foretold this.
Kenny Pickett goes down with the hamstring injury, so that now there's 4 in camp. There's 3 in camp. This is the perfect opportunity. If you're one of these young guys, you finally look around and say, okay, I got an old head out of here now. Let's see what I got. What do you project from Shedeur Sanders?
I'm skeptical. I think he'll be either on the practice squad or cut, to be honest. That's really my feeling, because the actions of the Browns don't feel like, wow, we got lucky, we grabbed somebody who has talent. I'll give you a couple of examples why I'm not buying into the Shedeur Sanders. Number one, it doesn't matter who you have in quarterback. I remember that D-Hawks, right? He threw 6 touchdowns against the Lions. Everybody thought he had arrived. Seahawks gave him a big deal, and Russell Wilson showed up. And guess what they did? They got rid of Matt Flynn, and Russell Wilson was their quarterback, and they won a Super Bowl.
Right.
Here's 2. Tom Brady is his mentor. Tom Brady is with the Raiders. He has influence. They have plenty of picks to pick Shedeur. I know that they have Gino's Pizza there as well. He's not the long-term quarterback, right? And if you really believe Tom Brady's worked with him, he's his mentor, he could believe in the guy.
I never thought of that, Rob, but you're right.
I'm dead serious. Like, think about that. That's the place to me where Tom Brady could have said, I was a 6th-round pick. You know, people passed on me. I believe in this kid. I've worked out with this kid. I know what this kid has. And it didn't happen. And I don't believe that unless the ownership stepped in, that he would have been drafted by the Browns. So you know, if I'm wrong, I'll admit that I'm wrong. But all the signs are not good. They didn't give him any first-team reps. in mini camp, and now only because of an injury is he really finally getting a chance. If you really believe you had a talent there, you would just drop your plans that you have and go with that guy. So I can be proven wrong, but I don't believe that that's the case.
Well, that's an interesting take. I hadn't even thought about the Raiders and the Tom Brady connection, because you're right. Tom Brady was very influential and instrumental in the young man's growth during his college years. This is a loaded question. It's not fair to Shedeur, and it's not fair to Deion either. But some have speculated that, usually when your dad is a Hall of Famer, kind of a one-of-one guy, and Deion was kind of in that club, like, that's a good thing. But there's been a lot of speculation that if you draft Shedeur, you're getting Pops too, and that creates drama, and it could create drama. And then, what if he pops off if his kid is benched or not starting? Do you buy into any of that, or is Deion an absolute non-factor in all of this?
Maybe a small factor, but I don't buy into this idea, the league is trying to humble Shedeur, and this is a knock against Deion. My issue here is, I'm just going by, and Jay, you know me, I'm a straight shooter. If I believe that something was going on, I'd say it.
No, you are.
So I'm not that guy.
No.
Okay, but I do believe this. There's a couple things at play. Deion didn't help his cause. Shedeur didn't help his cause with the reports about how he came in unprepared and stuff, so that none of that helped. But the real thing is, if he's not going to be your number one quarterback, do you want the headache of a star backup quarterback that everybody's always going to be clamoring about playing? It's the reason Tim Tebow couldn't keep a career in the NFL. Nobody wants that guy to be around, and every time the quarterback has a bad day, how come he's not getting reps? How come he's not playing? And the reporters are around his locker every day about why he doesn't have an opportunity. And remember, there were only 4 or 5 teams that were really looking for a quarterback. It wasn't like everybody was looking for a quarterback. So when he keeps getting passed by, people think you're getting passed by 30 teams. In reality, there's only 4 or 5 teams, so it looks worse than it really is.
Yeah.
There were 25 teams that didn't want a quarterback, and we're never going to draft a quarterback under any circumstance.
No, that's a good one.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this question real quick. Outside of the other stuff, and whether it's his dad or whatever the case may be, what was your assessment on Shedeur Sanders from a strictly quarterback playing on the field? What is his skill set? What was your opinion on him as strictly in between the lines at Colorado when he was coming out of the draft?
I'm not a football scout, so I'm always going to that I don't scout talent. I look at highlights, and I look at people. I don't know what his footwork is and all that other stuff. So I'm always that guy because I don't play football at that level. But I think his hype was bigger than his game. He beat only one ranked opponent there. They didn't even have a winning record. And I get it. It's Colorado. And yes, things turned around from year one. I'm not so sure that I can't remember who they beat week one. The team that was in
TCU.
TCU.
TCU. And then we found out that TCU wasn't that good, right? That year after they were in the Final Four or whatever it was in the college football playoffs. But my point is, that's where I leave. I think his stock was overhyped because of his name, because of his dad, because of the star power that came with what went on at Colorado. But when you start to really look at like the meat and potatoes of what really took place, I don't think anybody went there and thought he was going to be Eli Manning or the top or Andrew Luck or the top pick in the draft. And I think that's where people got crazy, thinking he was going to be a top pick or a top quarterback drafted, when a lot of scouts didn't see it that way.
Is that the Deion effect? Like, if his name is Shedeur Parker, are we talking about him right now?
I don't know if he's even in camp. You know what I mean? I don't know if he's even in camp.
Interesting.
I really don't. And it doesn't mean that he can't play or there's not a place for him. I just think it was overhyped by a lot people, and then you break down and cry. You know, I mean, that looked kind of weird, right? That Mel Kiper's been wrong many times on quarterbacks. And I'm not trying to rip his career or anything, Jay, but those are facts. This is not an exact science. He might wind up to be Tom Brady. I don't know, but I really feel like people kind of overestimated, where he was. And then when it didn't come to fruition, they used every kind of conspiracy to make the reason. There are too many teams, too many general managers, and too many coaches trying to win in the NFL. You can't tell me with honest conscience that a GM or a coach who sees a talent is not going to take him because he's trying to teach him a lesson or humble some kid or get back at God. I don't believe that. Yeah. You want to win. Jay, they haven't won in Cleveland. Come on, man. You don't want to win? Yes, you want to win. Yeah. If you're the New York Jets, you don't want to win? Yes, you want to win. Come on. I don't buy it.
So, Rob, just based on everything that you said, I'm asking your opinion. What do you think the projection for Shedeur Sanders is as an NFL quarterback, whether it's in Cleveland or elsewhere?
Right now, a backup quarterback, being put in the right situation and circumstance, maybe he could develop into something. I just see that from the start. They have all the tape. They've watched them. You know what I mean? There's plenty of opportunity to evaluate. And it doesn't mean that they get it right all the time. I tell you all the time, they don't get it right. But from this standpoint, can he be in the league? Absolutely. Do I see him as a star quarterback in the league? I don't.
Well, listen, I knew you'd shoot straight. You always do. Regardless of anything else, you bring it. And I'm glad that we had you on. Great catching up.
Wait, Rob, you got time for one more
Go
quick
ahead.
one?
You got something, Mike?
Real quick. If it's not Shedeur, Rob, who do you think ends up being the Browns' winning
Yeah, good
starter?
question.
I mean,
is Joe Flacco
one of the two old guys? I mean, no, because in quarterbacking nowadays, Aaron Rodgers is starting quarterback at 41. Like these guys, it's a different age group where people are still off to a good start. If he's a quarterback, then he could be the quarterback. I don't know if you're the Browns. Are you looking towards the future? Or are you trying to win now? Like people are trying to hold on to jobs and positions. You're trying to win now. There's no 5-year plan in the NFL. Who has a 5-year plan?
Yeah,
those coaches get fired after 2 years. There's no such thing. You're trying to win now, and you're not talking about, the future. I want this guy to be my quarterback. If he blossoms and becomes a quarterback, and then you say to yourself, now, and Jaden Daniels or something like that, and you go, I have him for the years. Jaden scuffled or struggled, and wasn't that player, they wouldn't have just automatically penciled him in. Look at where the Jets are, with a quarterback, with their quarterback situation. Justin Fields, has some talent. He's been on 3 teams in 3 years.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. That's for sure. The beauty of it is, and we had Joe Thomas on early in the spring, and Joe has a way of just boiling it down to the lowest and easiest common denominator. He said, we're going to find out. If he's got talent, you can't hide it. And if he doesn't have the skill set, you can't hide that. So with the only positive about Kenny being out for whatever it is, a week, 2 weeks, whatever, these dudes are going to get some reps. They're either going to be exposed or they're going to shine. And we should have some sort of an idea, not to say that they can't improve as the season and their careers go on, but we should have some idea by September 1st what they are. And we'll find out.
I agree with that. I totally agree with that, and that's why you practice. That's why you put in the reps. And football is more, you practice more than you play. Everybody had. So that's how you evaluate people, and that's how you do it. And then you have to obviously go and transfer that into games. So I'm not a guy saying that that Shedeur can't play and he doesn't deserve. This ain't Bronny James getting drafted by the Lakers. That's not what I'm calling this.
No.
But I will not at all. Shedeur can play, but where he really fits in. And people have to let go of the emotional attachment, because I think that's a lot of people have become emotional because it is Deion's son and because he's kind of flashy and all that other stuff. And they've really, really negated a lot of people in pro football who this is their livelihood and this is their careers, and to disregard them and act like there's some humble lesson that's here doing great work for the league to show these kids what to do and what not to do. So they Shedeur Sanders, that as an example.
Right.
I think overblown and so overstated.
Well, listen, we appreciate you coming on. We appreciate your opinions, and let's catch up soon. All right.
I'm going to be in town. I'm coming to the NABJ convention, the National Association of Black Journalists, next week.
That's awesome. Hey, listen, we've got a lot of other mutual friends that are going to be in for that. So let's do dinner. Let's get a group and let's do dinner.
And I'm going to give you that.
I'll be there, yes.
I'm going to get that 12 jersey, and I'll send it with Jay. And get the 12 jersey. You want the home or the away, Rob?
He's leading the band.
You want the home or the away?
Sanders.
We get you the home or the away or the alternate.
And we're going to send you the perfect timing song on your Apple Music, man.
All right, hey.
Throw your AP up, Rob.
Hey, that's fine. I'll take it. I'll take the home jersey. You know what? I need a collector's item.
You ain't wearing that Browns jersey anywhere. You don't want tomatoes thrown at you. Don't be silly. Rob, love you, brother. We'll catch up when you're in town for
Love
ABJ.
you too.
I can't wait.
All right.
Yes. All right, guys. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Rob's a great person, a longtime friend, great guy, and he doesn't really care. He just speaks it.
I wanted to spend. We got to react to that real quick.
Sure.
In the middle of an interview, I know it's tough to get your thoughts off, but Jay, I think you had an idea of what was coming.
I did not.
I had no idea.
Listen, I honestly, as I'm thinking, because
I felt like that was a setup.
Steven said we got to get Rob on. Steve texted me and said, hey, we got to get Rob Parker on to talk about Shedeur. And I go, you know what? I have not talked
bro,
about.
I ain't see that coming.
When Rob, I didn't either. When Rob and I talk, just so you know, Rob is as big a baseball fan as I am. When we talk, whether it's 20 minutes or an hour, it is only baseball.
Can I just say this?
That's it.
I know, G, you gonna cook, man. You done played this game at a collegiate level. Listen, man, I am a diehard football fan. I am not an analyst. I am not no expert. I give my opinion, but my eyes work. And I've watched Shedeur Sanders play football for a very long time.
Right.
And I fail to believe that Shedeur Sanders don't have talent. I think that.
Well, Rob never said that.
That's
not what he said.
At the end,
Rob said he can play.
Jay, let me finish.
Yeah, but I mean, don't mischaracterize his comments.
I didn't even get 5 words in what I was saying before you cut me off.
Well,
at the end, Rob did say he thinks he can play football.
Yes,
but you coming at this as if like he's not good enough to be a starting quarterback here or whatever the case may be. I'll just say this, man. To each his own. Everybody have their own opinion.
Yeah.
But this is a motivated young man. This is a young man that, by all accounts, his skill set matches what the Cleveland Browns want to do. All he wants is an opportunity to show what he can do. If Shedeur Sanders can play, he's going to get the opportunity to be the Browns starting quarterback for years to come. If he can't, this will be another year where we've hyped another quarterback and then we move on, and that'll be the end of it.
Yeah.
I just think people want to see this dude get a fair shot. And all this narrative about, like, you know, like just being over what all these teams passing up on him. Listen, I didn't hear that about Trey Lance. And Trey Lance went to a small school. They didn't talk about how many, top tier teams he beat at his school. I ain't hear that about Tony Romo.
Yeah, but don't use Trey Lance because Trey Lance has not been him.
But I'm just saying,
you know what I'm saying,
there are plenty of people that come out that go to small schools or go to schools that don't play big time competition, or you look at the level of competition.
Was it a red flag for you? I didn't know this. I don't know if it's true. We probably should fact check it. Maybe you guys know. Is it a red flag for you that he only beat one ranked team? I was unaware of that number.
Bro,
it could be.
There was one.
But how many ranked teams did Josh Allen play when he was in college? So the rest of them play when he was in college.
I'm not talking about them. I'm just talking about him.
They are one. Let me just give you all this, man. So unlike a lot of people, I've watched every throw that Shedeur Sanders has ever thrown at Colorado and Jackson State. I watched all Colorado games live.
What?
Yes. Live.
You might be the only one that's not a Colorado fan that did that.
No, hold on. This is the thing. This is how Prime go. My dad went to a HBCU, right? He's a diehard Ohio State fan. My brother's a diehard Ohio State fan. When Prime went to Colorado, that was must see. We watched all Colorado games. We watched the Baylor game. We watched the TCU game. We watched the Arizona game.
Speaking of Colorado, Sanders is having a press conference in like 15 minutes to
Yeah, he
announce
going through some
medical
stuff.
update. Is there,
Is
there a chance he just
there is a
steps
chance.
away?
So not for good, but there's a chance that he misses some time. That's what I heard. I don't know. He's going to update us.
He had a thing where he put on Instagram where he was like, man, it was kind of tough. I had to do a wheel the other day.
Yeah.
I said,
yeah.
Whoa. So he got something coming up at 11 Colorado time. But
that should be
coming up.
That's an hour. That's 15 minutes from now.
So shout out to Rob for coming on. Now, y'all didn't know that was, I done been on the Odd Couple numerous times.
Yeah. Me and Chris Broussard.
Yeah.
Lou's gone now. But Rob's still there.
Another partner. But so you know, I've had the opportunity to talk to him a few times, and I just was on maybe about a week ago, and we were talking about Shedeur Sanders. So I already knew he was.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
When Steve asked me, "Can you get him on?" I said,
I had no idea.
I literally said, yeah, because I'd like to know where he is on Shedeur too. I had no idea.
I've been on like 3 times since then, and then so I was always. That's why the first thing I said, "Hey Rob, them reps is coming." Because when I was on the show, he said, "Come on, G. Bush, he not even getting no reps." I said, "The reps is coming. Don't even worry." That's why I said what I said. So I already knew.
Before he came on, I was like, "Hey, that's G. Bush in the middle," and he just laughed.
Yeah, right.
I tried to. I don't think he knew Earl, so I was like, "Hey, this is Earl, I know you know Jade," and he just laughed. So that makes way more sense now. Okay.
So now when he come on, I'm like, listen. So he's already been on record being like, I'm a Shedeur detractor. He thinks he can play, but he also thinks that he was hyped up a lot. That's why I asked him that question.
That was what I took from him, is that he was more hyped than game. But again, this is what I love about this. We're gonna find out. We're going to find out.
That's why this is beautiful. Because look, and I that's why I said I'm gonna hold you to this. I said, listen. He said, "What about Kenny Pickett?" The last time I was on the show, I said, "Well, listen. If Kenny Pickett balls out, I will tell you he had a good day of practice. I ain't even like that." He said,
"Well, you complimented Kenny Pickett at the top of the show."
And I said, "I think you're a fair dealer too. If Shedeur Sanders balls out, Rob, I feel like you'll say it." That's why he said it.
Here's the thing, and this is why Rob is one of my go-tos, okay? We're obligated to do that. Anybody that doesn't do that on any single topic, to me, you lost your credibility. You can't pick and choose emotionally, or, I met him once. And one of the things that was very difficult for me early in my career, when I say early, I mean my Tampa stint. I was 31 when I got there. I would meet these Buccaneers and I'd be like, man, these cats are real. Mm-hmm. Derek Brooks, Warwick Dunn, John Lynch, Rondé Barber. These guys were like, if they walked in right now and you had a 30-minute conversation, you'd go home today. Everybody you met, you'd say, "Oh my God, I met Derek Brooks today. I knew he was a great player. Man, I had no idea what a great guy he was." One of the hard things that I had a difficult time with was separating that from the art from the artist. Okay? Now, Warren Sapp was, as great as those guys were, Warren was the other guy. Okay? He just had no time for anybody. He just was, I saw him do some things that I'm like, wow, I just watched a human being say that to a kid. I'm like, man, that is messed up. But when we went out there and had 3 sacks and batted down 4 passes and was the complete disruptor that he was, I had to go on TV and I had to say that. But it was a little difficult for me to pump up the guys that I thought were bad human beings and to be critical of the guys that I thought were great human beings. But then you realize right away, all you have is your name, and you make your reputation every day.
Remember,
dive in on one guy wrong at the wrong time.
It's like covering Jared Allen.
It's like,
great guy.
No, how can you say bad things about Jared Allen?
That's why I told, if you keep the main thing, look, I said on my blog, I said, listen, I love what Shedeur.
Hey, we got legit breaking news here, like monumental breaking news.
Oh,
the
gotta
Guardians have traded no. The Guardians closer Emmanuel Clase is placed on the non-disciplinary and paid leave as part of MLB's sports betting investigation.
Oh,
Clase,
no.
pitcher,
Oh, no.
Oh, he just gave up a
joining
3-run
right-hander
home run,
Luis
Jeff.
Passon. That is from Jeff Passon right now.
Oh,
Clase
no.
officially placed on the non-disciplinary and paid leave as part of MLB's sports betting
No,
investigation.
no.
Second Guardians pitcher tied to the investigation, joining Luis Ortiz.
We can't have nice things, you guys.
Ortiz, by the way, we didn't address it, but they're going to reassess his. They needed more time to figure out the investigation.
Yeah, they extended his leave.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
is never a good thing. But we got a bunch of super chats. 2 minutes, real quick. I hate to cut off the Sanders.
Oh, no,
2 minutes on the
guys.
Clase thing.
By the way, so the absolute worst possible scenario.
He just gave up a 3-run home run.
Yeah, but
That's the biggest
that's it. He's your biggest asset coming into the trade deadline, and now it's like he walks away and you
Hey,
get nothing.
Can we do that opening topic? Hell, it's over.
Oh my God! We can't have
Yo, we
nice
can't have
stuff.
nothing, bro. We can't have nothing in this damn city, man.
Jay, that's two. That's two.
And here's the thing.
In the same.
So I talked about this on Channel 3. I never got a chance to do this here. I'm going to do it quickly but I think it's very important. This is a byproduct of over-gambling in sports. You want to gamble on sports? Who's going to win? Why do we have next pitch gambling?
That's wild.
Why do we have that?
That's crazy.
And here's what's coming. There's going to have to be a major pullback from the sports betting industry, the gaming industry, as to how many bets and what they offer. Because if you are betting on a next pitch scenario, you're hooked.
Yeah. Oh,
You have a problem.
But Jay, Jay, that would mean they had to get that money back.
I don't care.
They would.
G. You know why? You know what we've lost that we can't get back? I talked about how in this business we earn our reputation every day.
You literally just said that.
Go lose it and try to get it back. You can't. That money, that's fine. You know what you can't get back? Integrity.
So
If I don't believe what I'm seeing is real, then I'm watching wrestling.
Just think
and
about
why am I
this.
watching?
Jay just talked about integrity in your name. Jay laid it out perfectly earlier about the scenario when he gave up the home run. And at the end of this show, we get news about sports gambling after we just talked about the Guardians still trying to hang in there. At the end of the trade deadline, he being one of the guys that could have possibly been
Jay,
traded.
Now listen, it's presumptuous to assume that it was over the
right,
home run.
but it could have been something way
but
more.
I'm just saying, it could have been a final straw.
Yeah, my inkling is that there was something else. Here's my hope. They better not go back to the postseason from last year.
Mr. Accolade poster.
Because he's thrown his last pitch in a Guardians uniform if it does.
Allegedly.
You know what? Listen, let's
Clase,
call it
real
what
quick,
it is.
One last new detail on the Clase. He has joined Ortiz on the non-disciplinary and paid leave through August 31st.
Okay.
So that means regardless of whether this turns out to be real, not
Or fake,
he will
you
not
can't
be
trade
part
him.
of
He
the
will not be
Guardians.
traded. He will not be pitching. He will not be helping. And you know what? As of that moment, we're sellers. We're sellers.
Yeah.
Buy Shane Bieber. He's gone. You got to get whatever you can for him. And you know what? Like I'm not going to hate the player as much. These guys are wrong. It's posted on every major league clubhouse billboard, like a billboard. The all-time hits king never got to go into the Hall of Fame because he bet on baseball. It is the cardinal sin, and in many regards it should be. But it is stealing. When you tell a pitcher, I could make $100,000 as to whether or not you throw a ball or a strike to the first hitter in the third inning.
I'm going to tell you.
I'm sorry, it's too easy. Now they're catching them because there are all kinds of algorithms that they're finding. Well, here's a betting anomaly.
If I had a teammate that just got knocked,
well, it's likely
something in your head.
I know, but it's likely that this goes back.
Yeah,
I get it, but it's just like
because when they get one person, they start to say, okay, well, let me go back and look at some of this other stuff.
Right.
And by the way, I'm starting to look at the Ohtani translator thing. I'm not saying it alleged, but
the home run versus Detroit last year in the playoffs.
I'm not going to speculate on any
I
was saying, and I probably shouldn't have brought this up, but what I said
I know,
was,
but it's
it
triggering.
better not go back to that.
It's triggering though.
But in all likelihood, guys, here's the sad thing about it.
It was probably somebody else outside.
It's most likely what Ortiz did is the smart way to game the system. They just got greedy and probably put too much action on it, and the pitches were too obviously spiked.
Right.
Okay. But here's my point on that. If this has never happened, but let's just say there was a conversation between Ortiz and Clase. Let's just say they're boys, and Ortiz said, "Man, you know that pitch I threw for a ball in the third inning?" And here's how non-impactful that pitch was. Clase would have been like, "No, I don't remember that." He's like, "Well, the first pitch is the third inning. I spiked. It's like a 58-foot slider. It was a ball." "Oh, okay, yeah. What about it?" "I made $100,000 on that pitch." I said, "Huh? What?" I'm just saying this is what could happen. Baseball, it's not baseball. When the sports gaming industry has made it too easy to do that.
This is basketball people too. Like
we saw it in basketball. We saw it in basketball.
Malik Beasley took a ball and went full court.
I don't gamble, so I'm not one to ask, but wouldn't it be okay if we lived in a world where you bet the winner of the game, an over and under? We're betting on individual pitches, you guys. There's an app.
Jay,
You
The
can
next
bet on
pitch
literally
betting.
everything, Jay.
Okay, so the pendulum was you bet on nothing, and then it swung to you can bet on whether or not he's going to grab his crotch in the next at bat. I don't need to bet on that.
Jay,
is the next pitch going to be a ball, a strike, or a hit? I don't need to bet on that.
You know it's a person out there that will bet if the sun come up tomorrow.
But here's my point, G. They say they're interested. In every ad they run, in
I'd
little
fade the
font
sun.
that you can't even read, it says, if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800 whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what's a funny meme, and it's funny because it's true? You've seen it. It's an Instagram video. The two dudes have they call the gambling anonymous hotline, and it's on speaker. Two guys, and they're like, all right, man, $100, it's a guy. I'll take that. Answers, it's a girl or whatever. They're like, yeah! Okay, you don't need to call Gambling Anonymous to find out if you have a problem, bro. You already have a problem.
Jay, you're probably old enough to remember
Art Schleister?
No, smoking billboards.
Oh, absolutely.
Or
bro, commercials on TV.
So they got rid of that. And people still smoke 3 packs a day.
Well, now, but in fairness, if you call this up, if you call up smoking frequency in the United States, there is a correlation between the ads going away. When we smoke now is less as we've ever smoked in this country.
And when they got rid of the obscene rules, they'd be like, "Hey, we'll let you smoke inside the same building as other people."
Bro,
in the
you know what's
section.
funny to me? This is how old I am, okay? This is how old I am. I was probably 10. It might have been one of the very first flights I ever took. I was always like adverse to cigarette smoke. It just bothered me. My throat, my eyes. I never tried to smoke anything in my whole life. I've never inhaled anything like
Doja.
that. I'm on an airplane, bro, and a guy sparks up a smoke, and he's a couple rows in front of me. And I'm like, oh, no, this is not going to be good.
He was in the smoking section.
I wasn't going to complain, but the woman next to me noticed that I was kind of like doing one of these numbers. I was fine by myself. I was 10. I'm looking around, and she goes, oh, that's the non-smoking section. And I'm like, wait. 3 rows up, non-smoking. I don't see any partitions. I don't see any, like how we're all breathing circulated air. We're in a metal tube. There's no smoking section.
I remember being in bars and being able to buy cigarettes, and then they stopped it overnight.
You wake up the next morning, you smell your clothes. You're like, man, I smell
My
like
grandmother
Marlboro.
smoked Virginia Slims.
They're like that long.
My
They
grandfather
smoked that thing for like a half hour.
My grandfather smoked Lucky Strikes.
No filter.
No.
You're just like, yeah, I'm gonna try to get the cancer right in the lung.
I got a contact high.
Virginia Slims.
Bunch of super chats, so we're gonna just extend today's show. We won't do.
Can we do that?
We'll do it. Yeah, I
Okay,
stopped
great.
the stream on the back end, but it won't mess up YouTube.
Okay.
Real quick before we get to super chats, yes or no, Jay, and then G and then Earl will go around the horn. Yes or no? Will Clase ever pitch in Major League Baseball again?
I don't have enough information to make that assessment right now. If I were a betting man, I would say no.
G?
A major league investigation is like when when you get indicted by the feds. They don't lose those cases unless you're P. Diddy.
Yeah.
I mean, he just out-lawyered him.
Jay is cooking it.
No, I mean, go look, their prosecution rate, bro, it's the government.
Hey,
if they don't have a case, they'll rig it so they do.
And by the way, the Guardians put out a statement that said this is the end of the Guardians' ties to whatever.
Okay,
how do you know that, though?
Well, as far as they know, they're working with Major League Baseball, and I'm going to go as far as to say this. I wonder now, because I kept saying something's wrong with this team, something's going on in the clubhouse that we don't know about. This is not a baseball thing. You don't go from, not that they were a juggernaut, but they were like 10 games over 500 at one point this year. And then all of a sudden they can't score runs and they're losing everything. And I said, something is wrong with this team. And then when Ortiz came out, I felt, oh, okay, I guess they knew Ortiz's investigation was going on. But I bet you we're going to find out that they were informed about Clase even longer ago, and they had a hard time putting a case together.
I'm gonna say, man, 51-49. Like I'm saying, Pete Rose.
Oh, I'm gonna take that action.
51-49. I'm gonna say 51-49. He does.
He does. Okay, good. I hope you're right. I hope you're right, but I gotta tell you, this ain't good.
I don't want to be involved in that.
I don't know, Mike. I got 5 say he don't.
That's crazy.
Fair enough. All right, let's get to Super Chats to wrap up today's show.
Right now, guys. I'm gutted.
We have a bunch of Super Chats. A lot of them came during the Rob Parker segment.
Hey, shout out to you. Good for business.
First one comes from Kirk Davis, who says, could we see a special guest star on UCSS, maybe Shedeur or Gabriel this season? We'll make the request. We will most likely be denied, but we will continue to make the request.
No. Let me just cut the chase. No.
Hey,
we ain't seen him.
Would you let, with these sharks that we got up here, would you let people come on UCSS?
Who's come on UCSS and hasn't had a great time?
I'll say this, though, guys. In all seriousness, what are we going to learn? What are we going to learn when we talk to pro athletes? When was the last time you left an interview with a pro athlete? You're like, wow, did I learn something there?
Oh, no, yeah.
Some of them are entertaining, but I think this is what Pat McAfee has dialed into. Like, you got talk to them about other stuff.
Yeah, streaming. Like, dude, I would rather interview him about football. I would want to follow him around during the day and do weird stuff like stream or watch him do a video or watch him make songs.
When he talked about some years ago how athletes, they appreciate being asked questions that don't have nothing to do with that. If I was at practice with you Saturday, I would have asked Shedeur Sanders about Young Dolph. Young Dolph's birthday was yesterday. Young Dolph used to go to Jackson State and hang out, with the football team all the time, and they sparked a relationship to the point where Young Dolph's son was with him in Cleveland for a little bit when he first got drafted. So I would have asked something along the lines of, with Young Dolph's birthday coming up, what impact do you think he had on the community that don't often get talked about?
That's a good question. Yeah, I would ask him. I want to see what he say about music questions. But generally speaking, Jay,
that's what I enjoy. I enjoy talking to athletes about life, about other things. What do you do with your free time? That kind of stuff. Because they're so buttoned up with they almost never say anything. They never shed any light. The Browns obviously don't want them to come on here. We throw darts on this show, okay?
What you mean?
We throw darts.
When you pull up at practice, they be like, who the hell done let?
Yeah, I mean,
he coming up here.
I promise you, I'm not walking into practice next to G. Bush.
They listen.
You know what though? Like, that's our job. It's not our job for the players to like us or the team to like us. If the team was smart, they would try to catch flies with honey instead of vinegar, because human nature is human nature. I talked about it earlier. It's difficult to separate the art from the artist, and it's really hard for me to go in hard on someone that I've met and that I like. Does that mean I won't do it? No, that's my job. That's what I'm paid to do. I'm not going to be right every time.
No,
but it's our job to make assessments and then express our opinions. We're paid to do that.
We have a bunch of these. Let me get through a couple. We'll kind of interject as we go. The next one comes from Beautifully Something. I can't see the rest of the name. It gets cut off here. Beautifully Somebody. I apologize. It gets cut off. Beautifully Somebody says, it's obvious they want Kenny as the starter. Only God knows why. Side note, G. Bush Earl should try to get Shedeur on the show. Auntie approved. Brody's bottom line says, Pickett so good the Super Bowl champions just got rid of him. Tyler Bertolacci says, let's go blue.
Back that one, in fairness, like, what are they going to do? Are they going to start him? No. If you're not going to start him, move on. Can't pay him.
Yeah, I mean, they traded DTR, who had 1 touchdown and 10 picks for him. So
that part of it is
yeah.
Put respect on it.
Was that a 1-for-1? Was there something else in there?
Aura.
The Eagles got a 5th-round pick.
That's what I thought.
Our
Yeah.
grandmothers is from
Let's
the
face
South
it.
that
in
are
baseball,
long.
in baseball, the vernacular is, oh yeah, they traded him for a bucket of balls. And you know, you laugh because you're like, well, what did they get? Well, they got like a player to be named later. You never want to be traded for a player to be named later.
What they traded for, Jay?
A bucket of balls.
You got Paul. That's super.
Pause.
Like super.
No, but honestly, like that was a situation where the Eagles said, "Are we cool with losing Pickett and getting a 5th-round draft pick?" And they were like, "Hell yeah, we're cool with that."
Tyler Bertolacci says, let's go blue. Michigan owns Ohio State.
Hey, win your game in November. We're winning the trophy in January. That's all.
Brody's bottom line says Detroit 2-12 or DET 2-12. I'm not sure what that means.
Probably Detroit.
The Tigers. I'm sure it's
Yeah,
not Tigers. Last 14 games.
Yeah, they've been abysmal.
Tyler said Shedeur mentioned being patient because of his strong identity in Jesus. Just like that, now he has an opportunity. God is good.
All the time.
Wait,
And all the time,
hold up. God hurt Kenny Pickett.
No, also God works a mysterious way.
I think that's what
God
you're trying
might
to
have
say.
said, "Well, we got to get Kenny up out of here."
But here's what I will say. I always laugh.
God, you let me down, Kenny.
I used
Kenny's
to,
like,
I
"Wait a
used to
minute."
always tell people this. Listen, God is not here on this football field. You can only pray not to be hurt. He don't care what happened in your football game.
That is so true.
He's somewhere in the Middle East trying to figure things out.
Yeah.
That's how he working.
He was not a Patriots fan. for all
No,
those
he was
years.
just like, hey, Tom, whatever, how you want it.
Dragon the Abandoner says Amani Marshall will be our RB1 by midseason. He was the undrafted free agent.
Shout out to Dragon the Abandoner. He's a big follower of all my live streams, and he got one of the coldest names of all time.
Yeah, what is that rooted in? Do you know?
I don't know. It's
Dungeons and Dragons?
His D&D name is crazy. Dragon. That sounds like a dragon keeper in the House of the Targaryens, bro. It's crazy.
I don't even know what the hell you just said.
J.A. says, what team in the NFL will start Gabriel or Pickett right now?
None.
Yeah, not
Nada.
very
Maybe not even the Browns.
Yeah, that might be off
Beautifully
the table.
Blessed. I ended up saying the name. It's Beautifully Blessed. I apologize for not getting the
I like
blessed in
that
the
name.
first part.
Hey,
Yeah,
shout
I
out to her, man. That's one of the Shedeur aunties, one of the
Yeah.
CU aunties, man.
Yeah.
They always supporting everything I do on the Ultimate 216 show, everything I do on the radio, and everything we do here. Shout out to y'all. Thanks for the super chat.
She says, and I'm not sure exactly what she's referring to, but she says, that's not 100% correct. Brady wasn't during his college years. It was during high school. You don't miraculously go from being top 2 to just a dude overnight.
He's you talk about Tom
she
Brady.
talking about?
Tom Brady is
It was an influence
Yeah,
on
yeah,
Shedeur.
yeah.
Yeah.
She damn near took her belt off.
And they did have a relationship in college. I've read where both of them have talked about it.
And it's not. And here's the thing: it ain't like Tom Brady can be like, "Hey man, you gonna draft him?" Like, I mean, I guess you could.
No, you know what? Tommy Lasorda drafted his godson, and it was a 30. I'm guessing now. Someone can look this up. 31st round draft pick, and it was a favor to Pops. He was his godfather. Mm-hmm. He drafted his godfather. You know who that player was?
Who?
Mike Piazza.
Wow,
He only made it to the Hall of Fame.
good.
That's one of the
I would
greatest
have drafted
moves
my
of all
guys
time.
now too.
I'm guessing this next string of super chats, well, I know for a fact they all came during the Rob Parker interview.
You can tell.
Rob
Squizerm.
about to take darts right now.
Squizerm says, thank you, G. Bush, for putting this dude on blast for not having any knowledge of football.
I just asked one question.
J.A. says, Rob, that's a clown take. Put your red nose on. G. Bush, see, this is why we act out. You just admitted you never, and I think he's talking about Rob, says you never admitted you really never assessed him do your homework.
Oh yeah, they was going in on him.
Brody's bottom line says, so R. Parker, the 14,000 yards he threw for just doesn't matter. Boscrow, pro Rob Parker says, thank you, Rob, for speaking the truth. Sanders is all media hype. And last but not least, Sean Philpott says, Why is there an assumption that just because someone works in the NFL that they are actually competent? Ray Farmer, George Kokonis worked here, whatever, man. And Goldilocks Gaming says it's the perfect timing for the Kenny Pickett injury.
By the way, I have where Mike Piazza was drafted. He drafted him in the 62nd round.
That's wild.
62nd round. Dude went to Hall of Fame.
I'll ask you this in this show. Jay, is there what percentage of your soul are you interested in Browns preseason football at this point?
I will tell you this. I'm more interested in preseason than regular season. That's the first time that's ever happened.
I like that.
I'm not shocked though. Jay's a Browns junkie, so like competitions and trying to figure out who's going to be where coming to opening season.
I've been told by everybody that this year doesn't matter. That this year we don't care. Like that's when you're a 60-year-old male who wants nothing more than to see your team win a Super Bowl. That's the last damn thing you want to hear. I could get hit by a bus next week.
I was fussing at Bull about this last week. It matters. It matters to the fans here in
Cleveland. It does, but I'll tell you this, honestly, and I don't know that this will ever be the case again. I know it's never been the case for me. I will watch this year's preseason, provided they get it right this year.
Okay.
Last couple years, they're like, yeah, no, we're good. We don't need to put anybody out there. And then the regular season rolled out, and I'm like, oh, I look like I'm watching preseason football right now.
For the first 5
So I think they learned their lesson from that last year, but the situation sets up where they have to play these guys.
Yeah.
We have 4 quarterbacks that weren't here last year.
Yeah.
Who's what? Who can do what? So this year's
new OC,
this year's
new
preseason
QB coach, new everything.
Yeah, I'm going to be watching with great
Offensive
interest. But I will
line
tell you this: when the season starts, the first 6 weeks, we're getting boat raced, guys. Like, get ready for it.
We got time for that, Jay. I want to read one tweet, and then we'll wrap up today's show. But I found this very funny in light of a very serious situation regarding Emmanuel Clase. But at Guards Joey, who is a very funny Twitter follow, tweets all Guardians, tweeted, and I feel like this is going to speak to a lot of you guys. I have proof that Matt Festa, Jacob Junis, Paul Sewell, Jonathan Rodriguez, and Will Wilson were also gambling at MLB, at Rob Manfred, at FBI, at the Justice Department. Please get them off our team as well.
That's
He said at the DOJ.
That's FBI.
That is the highest level of dry snitching right there.
And last but not least, Deion Sanders.
Yeah,
we mentioned
you seen this?
He had been seeking treatment for an aggressive cancer tumor on his bladder. It has since been removed.
That's wonderful
and
news.
Deion says he is cured from the cancer.
That is wonderful news.
Great news for Deion Sanders.
Yeah.
Somebody have you ever? This is wild. Somebody in my comment section after one of my blogs, he basically said that's what it was. Like, and sometimes you hear people say stuff and you be like,
"That's a guess."
That's a guess.
Yeah,
and then be like, but he did this probably 3 days ago.
Yeah.
And I was like,
I'm sure that he probably, I don't know if he told his team. It wasn't really out there like mainstream media.
Yeah.
But you could imagine that he had people in his circle that knew, and that somehow you can't keep that circle small. And I'm just glad he's okay because so now that the tumor's out and he says the cancer's gone, it's one thing for the cancer to be gone. They did the same exact thing to my father and his gallbladder. And it ended up, that's what he died of. He was diagnosed with cancer 3 times, beat it the first 2, treated it and thought they beat it with the gallbladder, but they did not, and that's what got him. You're never clear of cancer. You're never, and I get that. But I had heard, this was probably before they knew that it wasn't, or that they could remove it, that he was dealing with a situation that isn't just like coaching, it's life or death.
Yeah. What's wild is the way, if you watch, you just go back and you look at cancer. Cancer is the commonality of all men. It gets you. So if you think you got differences in anything, just go to the morbid place of what cancer is, and you say, "Hey, we all got it. All it takes is your genes to do this."
That's it, man.
It's floating. It's within the capabilities of everybody. So I'm just happy, because I was thinking. I was watching a YouTuber that I watch, and he said, "Hey guys, I've been working out and stuff, but I got something to tell you. I got stage 4 colon cancer."
Ugh.
And he's a young dude with kids, and it was crazy. I had just seen it because it's like, hold on, but bro, what do you mean like stage 4? It's like that thing of Yeah, I just figured it out. I went and got checked. I was having some stomach issues, and I guess maybe it's around that time because we all older, and you get to the point where they be like, hey, it's time for you to go get checked and do things. So hopefully everybody out there, go get checked. Make sure you take care of one another, but I'm hoping everything is fine with them, though.
Hey, man, shout out to everybody, man, that's in the chat that watched the show. Shout out to everybody from the east side. They up here dropping some food suggestions, man. We love y'all. Thanks for being supporters of UCSS.
One thing real quick. I know you guys saw it because I think you sent it to all of us, but this tweet about
Clase pitch?
About the Clase pitch. I don't know if this is going to be the one in question or not. He comes in a 6-1 game. This was a home game, so it looks like they're playing the Royals. They are playing the Royals. So 6-1 game. The very first pitch of the 9th inning, he spikes a 58-footer. That's exactly what Ortiz is accused of. And by the way, if I'm a pitcher, I'm going to do that. I don't care how much money I'm making. That's not like bending over to pick up however much money you want. You have the opportunity to bend over and pick that up. You can do it? Yeah, I'm going to do it. So he throws it in the...
It hits the grass.
It hits the grass. It's literally we call it a 58-footer. I don't even know if it traveled 58 foot. And no harm, no foul. Now it's 1-0 to the first hitter in the inning, and I got a 6-1 lead. Woo. The sports betting, better watch it. They better fix it because you do not want the government to get involved. And if the government thinks that the product is being compromised or the integrity is lost, then you're going to see the pendulum swing too far back the other way. Sports betting is gone.
We'll discuss this more as we get some more information tomorrow on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Have a good one.
Peace.